Hello, everyone. We are back from the break. It's Franchise Premier League playoffs, baby. Season 4 playoffs start with a banger. Hopefully, it's the Intless versus Metashift League for this quarterfinals first match in our Fearless Best of 5 format. So it's me, Kebin Dunk, on the play-by-play. It's True, the OG of this league, on the color cast, and we are saved by the wonderful Pop-Tart swooping in at that last second. Call it a Mikhail's Crucible because we needed the cleansing as we're jumping straight into this one. I mean, I don't think these lanes are going to be that inflammatory, but True. Any initial thoughts on this? I do see that there's a couple new items being picked up. The D helm, I think it's called the D helm, yeah, and the D bow
Yeah.
in those item slots. I've never actually played much with that D helm, but from what I understand, it's a lot less about the sustain and just a lot more about those raw stats that actually benefit the Ornn damage as well as the Shen just ability to tank.
Yeah, and certainly the Doran's Helm and the Doran's Bow are the two most gold efficient starting items in the game. Or actually, not even starting items, they are the two most gold efficient items in the game. I think Helm is like 171% gold efficient, and Bow is like 179. They're extremely potent in terms of what they can offer for those raw stats. And you are correct, as you said, for Ornn, who gets those the bonus stats for HP, AP, or not AP, sorry, HP armor and MR. And then, interestingly enough, Bow, also an extremely gold efficient item. The only drawback, so to speak, for Bow is that it just doesn't have that additional 80 health that Blade does. So you do have a trade off from it, insofar as you lose a lot of general tankiness not taking Blade, and then for Helm, oh wait, Quarter.
Talk about a big trade in the bot lane.
You know,
I
I'm
mean,
not actually going to say that full name. Just Grim taking a whole chunk of damage.
I was about to say, yeah, Grim. Yeah, let's just call him Grim for now. But I think that advantage going over to Crab and Aura from that early laning, and it's not really popping up right now. But the thing is, Big Red's not going to have the ability to tank too much poke because, like you said, the minus HP on the D blade is actually pretty important for a heavy laning focus. I think you're kind of risking being down 80 HP, which is quite a lot in that early game for the bonus stats. So it's going to be up to Big Red and Grim to see if they can actually survive this, because look at the damage. But it is a gank here. Spy's making it to the bottom lane. Nimbus strike in the slow from that Tidecaller's Blessing. I don't know if Crab's actually going to flash. They are not, and it's going to be first blood over to the Monkey King. A nice beat drop, doubled up, but the bubble is even better. Aura's going to have to be flashing from that one. So Grim dropping that bubble in the perfect spot means that it forces out the flash. So that early aggression being answered by the Intless with a gank of their own. They're going to get the crash as well. So right now it's looking like the junglers are making a lot of difference in that early game.
Yeah, it's a really solid punish from Spies to come in that moment, and there's no ward to catch out the Wukong. It's a huge punish. Nami is able to buff up the Wukong with the additional movement speed as well as the slows, and obviously Ashe has her own slow on its own. I think it's pretty reasonable from Crab to say, okay, well, I'm not going to burn Flash here. It's a bit of a long shot in terms of surviving. Aura did lose both summoners, though, so that Seraphine is extra vulnerable in this lane now. But you can still see that even though Big Red was able to get the assist off of that, Crab is able to come back into lane more than fast enough with all that additional movement speed. So Ashe isn't really out of the woods quite yet. This MF still bullies quite hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the Misfortune is still in a decent spot. Like you said, like the farm difference isn't huge. I think the early advantage that they were just trading up on means that Misfortune likely will only be down, not even down CS after this wave. So Crab and Aura are still in a decent spot. But the fact that Wukong got that early kill means that Spies will hit that Triforce spike a little bit earlier and be able to fight that Xin Zhao. So if I'm Sir Joey right now, I'm hoping that I can find more opportunities to fight, right? I think... excuse me, Xin Zhao's just one of those champions that really benefit from taking early skirmishes, and especially with something like the Annie, something with the Ornn that do have a lot of setup, there's, I think, really ample opportunity for Xin Zhao to just kind of get in the face of the Wukong, even at this point, once he gets that first back. So, Metashift going for a nice little trade here with that stun, but yeah, likely that he can't really get any early kill pressure unless Slim really stands in the damage. In the bot lane, they continue to scrap as Crab, getting a big double up. Aura taking a lot of damage, though, from the auto attacks, but ultimately it's the Seraphine Misfortune just dealing way more in that early game against the Ashe Nami. So big damage being traded back, and again, the health is going to hurt because Misfortune won't have that extra HP to survive a possible dive.
Yeah, I mean, like the other thing here is that for as in vogue as Ash Seraphine is, it's not as though MF Seraphine is anything to scoff at. That also was a very classic pairing for Seraphine have MF, especially because of how hard MF hits. And you can just throw down your E as MF, and that gives Seraphine setup for root at minimum stun if you have double cast.
Ooh,
So
talk about damage.
yeah, like this is not a fun lane for either the Ashe or the Nami to be in. You can certainly argue like, oh well, how relevant is having that ADHP from the bow if you're going to be getting harassed this hard? But this is also kind of why I would argue that having something like a Braum could make the world of difference in a game like this, in a lane like this, because it's not as though Nami is bad, but you're looking at three champions on the side of MSL here that get very frustrated by a good unbreakable from Braum. And you don't have that available now. Instead you have a far squishier Nami as your support. And so that means that both laners are just that much more vulnerable, especially when Ashe doesn't have that extra bit of HP. So a bit of a hard time for the int list. But that being said, off of that first blood gold, they have a very small gold advantage. Otherwise, I think you could certainly argue that things are relatively at parity between the teams, and that is also nothing to scoff at. For as much as Aura and Crab are bullying, they're not really translating that into an outright strong advantage.
Oh, wait,
this might be a strong punish.
Barrier activated as Crab still has the flash, but they're turning and fighting. Big Red is actually doing tons of damage. Flash forward to get the follow-up kill, and now it's going to be Aura with no flash. Tries to get the kill back, but he cannot. It's going to be Aura and Crab getting double killed by the side of the Ashe, but now in the top side, I think Spy's already got a kill, as we're going to see the Stand United use it on Sir Joey. Both these junglers are scrapping. It's a flash away. The Shen is here for the damage as well, and Spies picks up a second kill of the game from the help of the top laner. I think in the top side, it was... I think that's a Jay Jonikis. Wait, flash forward into the stun. The Tiber's doing big damage, but the bubble gets a shutdown on to the Ashe, but in return, it's Grim getting the kill back off of a beautiful Aqua Prison. It is already... Yeah, we said that it was a pretty even game, but the game just exploded in the favor of the int list because now it's 6-1. All these kills popping off on the side of the map within the past minute or so. Jonikis getting soloed out. Or no, I think he got ganked by the Wukong, and then Spies fighting Sir Joey. Getting the help from that Stand United means the entire top side goes in the favor of the int list. Yes, it is Metashift's Annie making a move down bottom lane, but still goes down. So the kill, yes, you get a shutdown, but you do give over your own kill and some tempo. And mid lane's not even much behind because of that gold lead, because of the plates. And right now the int list are in a really good spot compared to Metashift, who just seem to have fumbled a couple of plays here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the big problems, like in that lane, as far as bot lane goes, credit where it's due, Grim landing that Aqua Prison is pivotal for them to get those kills, and that is what I was kind of talking about in that champ select, where yes, as MF Seraphine, you are strong, you are more than capable of bullying, but the problem with it is if you step up too far, the Nami and the Ashe are more than capable of punishing you, and those slows, they just stack up, and it's hard to trade back. It punishes them extremely. Metashift did roam down, but at the point that Metashift roams down, you're forced into this catch-22 of a situation where either you commit for something, you might die, maybe, hopefully you don't, but you might. But either way, you lose out on that mid lane tempo. You have to face the fact that Ari gets to push in anyway. So Metashift went for the kill, hoping okay, I'm full HP, I'll be able to get a kill and get out. Didn't pan out that way, and yeah. Really rough situation thus far for MSL because we were just saying the game was in a bit of a dead heat. The gold was so close, and now they're looking at roughly a 2.6, 2.7k gold deficit very early on, which this early in is hard to deal with.
Only Aura on the Seraphine, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the pressing guard is good, but it doesn't block the Wukong damage. Bullet time across many members, but the shutdown only goes to the Annie, and now Crab is in some danger. Slim already picking up one, picking up two with that Spirit Rush, and going forward for Aura. It's going to be 3 in the back line, and it's only just 1 picked up for Metashift League. It was Grim and Big Red doing so much distraction, waiting for Spies to get in position for the engage, and yes, you could turn it around with the Encore, with the bullet time, but at that point, Sir Joey was already down so below that the team fight was an easy win afterwards. Again, it's a 3-for-1 in the favor of the Intless. This Wukong is massive. They stopped that dragon as well, and it seems like Metashift again cannot get anything notable from the team fights. They're only losing out as it's just really the bot lane making all of the difference. Big Red and Grim weather the storm, and they fire back for their team to get much more.
Yeah, I mean, it's going from bad to worse. Like the only silver lining for Metashift is that the dragon wasn't taken immediately, but it takes them too long to redeploy. So now that dragon will go over to the int list here. I doubt that MSL can get much more out of it, but you're seeing those pings. They want to take the fight, but I don't think it's there for them to take anymore. Talking about how that fight broke down, Metashift, they had a thought going forward. They thought, okay, well, they're going in on Sir Joey. Let's punish them. Let's use bullet time and encore to hit the backline, to hit like Big Red as well as Grim, and Metashift committed for that. Did throw down the Tibbers and hit both of them pretty hard, but the unfortunate part of it was, as you said, Spies, Slim Pimpin, they were off in the wings. They were able to punish rather fantastically. Things are not going great for MSL.
Sir Joey is just straight up losing the 2v1.
It's a 3-level difference. Like
massive.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, Shen and Ornn, right? Like they're building tanky, but at the end of the day, their ability damage is based off of their level more than it's based off of the stats that they're building. So, yeah, that 3-level difference is a world of hurt for Sir Joey, who's already died 2 times this game. Like, it kind of looks like MSL's position is getting increasingly dire. And, we've seen this before, Kevin, where even if you have a really strong team fighting comp, if you fall so far behind in lane, even when you find an ideal team fight for yourself, sometimes you're so far behind that your ideal team fight doesn't really matter anymore.
Oh, wait, Charm hits. Grim is in position as well. Oh, the Aqua Prison just barely missing here. But the fact that Aura and Crab completely surrender the bot lane means that it's going to be a bit of a mismatch on when that role quest is going to be activated. It's going to take a little bit longer for the MF and the Seraphine. And the fact that the mid lane prio is still pretty in the favor of the Endless means that we just see Spies walking into the red side jungle all the time and kind of taking and poking and prodding the Xin Zhao. The mid lane prio as well means that Wukong's going to be able to easily clear the Void Grub. So the side laning for the Ahri, for the Shen is much better. I think that's going to matter a lot for the top side because Shen is already cracking down on some of the plates that the Ornn is giving over. So yeah, the snowball gets bad to worse for the side of Metashift because yeah, their team, I don't think it really does well if they're behind, and now Big Red and Grim looking for Metashift in the bot lane, who's constantly slowed up by the passive. Arrow gets flashed away from, but the flash follow for it, the tidal wave, it surfs up, baby, and Big Red and Grim are riding it all the way to a solo, or I guess a 2v1, practically a solo bolo, but we'll give it to Grim there. And again, it's Metashift being on this Annie. This is a champion that honestly doesn't do a lot if you're behind, right? You're pretty much there for the flash tibbers and you're gone. But now in this bottom lane play, Big Red barriers through the ultimate, the encore whiffs. It's a flash away from Grim, and even the punish play gets absolutely nothing for Metashift League, and Spies and now Slim Pimpin are making it to the bot side, and Big Red is starting to slow them down. Sir Joey flashes in. They're getting some good damage. Can they kill the Nami, who gets the big shield, the Cyclone in the backside? It's now 5 people here in the back line as Sir Joey tries to get a kill back, and he cannot. It's a jump forward from Slim Pimpin as Spies gets the bonk down on Crab, and it's going to be Aura getting farmed here as well, but it's not the right team farming that Aura. It's going to be the Intless making a 5-man play on the bot side. Actually, unlucky, or the Canadian wasn't even there for the play because his ultimate got canceled, but it wasn't even needed. Honestly, it might have been better for the Ornn to not let that cancel, because now the Shen just gets to stay in lane and farm your plates. And from bad goes even worse into terrible, as it's now a 5k gold lead for the side of the int list before 15 minutes. Play after play are going in their favor, and man, it is looking bad for the scoreboard of Metashift League.
Yeah, I mean, like, the way that play went out for Metashift, I not to sound terribly harsh here, but it kind of reeks of desperation. Like, they know that they're at a deficit, so they were like, okay, well, we have to force something. We have to make something happen. And they go for it. They use bullet time in a perplexing manner. They use encore when it's not going to catch anybody, and then they stay. And that's the punish angle for Spies to come in, for Slim Pimpin to come in, and ultimately, like, I completely agree with you. Like, letting Shen stay in that lane and top lane ends up just making things worse. because now Ornn can't push out either way. And you're still looking at a situation where Shen did his job. Shen was still able to keep that target he ulted alive. And now I would absolutely say that Metashift is in this position where it doesn't matter what what the gold lead, or sorry, what your composition is, like, because your team has just fallen so far behind at this point that you're hoping that you're going to hit like pretty much 20 minutes. Ornn's items are going to start to come in.
Oh no.
Because otherwise, like you don't have anything, and like this is exactly what I mean. Like Sir Joey is already at the point. Oh my lord. Okay, no.
Wait,
nope,
Flash Encore hits the Ash bullet time. She doesn't have Flash, gets rooted up, and the shutdown unfortunately goes over to Aura, but that is a good kill back. But in response, while you're discussing True, like Sir Joey just got absolutely invaded. Like the fact is lanes have 0 prio, means that yeah, he just gets run down by the Wukong, who has like a 2 levels advantage, as well as Ari, who's just so good in those small skirmishes, dashing and getting the charm, and it's just a quick 100-0. That's 8 stacks on the Darksteel, second Dragon in tow, and really the only thing Metashift Elite get is a shutdown for their support and a couple plates. So yeah, the punchback is something, but it's not strong enough, I think, for them to kind of make anything significant in this game, as the next Dragon goes to the side of the int list, and they're pretty happy even if their AD carry died.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I wanted to say, right? Like, even if you get the kill on Ash and you get some gold, the gold went on to Seraphine, which, not great. But B, you still can't contest for Dragon all of a sudden, so you're still losing out on the objective game here. And C, Seraphine flashed for that. I'm not entirely certain that was a situation where Seraphine needs to flash to catch the Ash, but they committed for it, and you're using 2 potent tools, 3 if we're counting bullet time, for a pick on the enemy ADC that really doesn't materialize into anything. Like, yes, you get a few plates out of it, but you can't finish the tower with how things are. Can't get the dragon. Like, it is a minuscule silver lining in comparison to storm clouds that MSL are currently finding themselves in. Because really, the Endless, they have all the cards. They seem so unbothered with how things are going at the moment. Like, you were talking about quests earlier, and as I can see, Metashift still isn't done with the mid lane quest. Right, like you typically see the boots go into the keystone slot in the UI when the quest is complete, and that's not there yet. So, like, it's kind of difficult to approximate how things are going for MSL, but definitely not going well.
Not going well indeed, as they're facing
There it
still
is.
a 5k deficit. Yeah, like you said, finally getting that role quest. I mean, that extra AD and AP might make a difference, but it hurts a lot because Slim Pimpin is here. The arrow into the charm. It's a chain CC. Even the heal was used, but Aura getting farmed here by the entire side of the int list, as that was a really good play from Slim to kind of hold off on the charm into Big Red, just throwing out the arrow point blank. Means there's really no escape. They're going to use that kill to get the Rift Herald right now. It's a pretty quick one, as well as Big Red is pretty accelerated on this Ash. And yeah, there's just going to be means that there's more tower pushing power. This Wukong's on 2 items already, which is quite terrifying. But Metashift going for the flash stun. Is there enough damage to get the kill? Big Red flashes away. The disengage from the Nami is good, but the bullet time is going to clean it up finally. So the kill goes over to Crab, as it's going to be a continued chase from Sir Joey. But Spies is now here after picking up the Rift Herald. They're going to bonk down the Xin Zhao. Slim Pimpin makes it here with the teleport. Doesn't have the ultimate just yet, though, so he can't actually get Crab, as the charm misses Aura, keeping everyone healthy with that Seraphine shield and heal. I mean, it is ending up being a 1-for-1. It was the flash being invested by the Xin Zhao. Big Red also using that flash, so good plays being used here. But in the return punch, Spies on the Wukong has taken the Herald onto a driving or sorry, that wasn't just the Herald, that was just him pushing in, and it's going to be mid lane tier 1 falling for Metashift League, and I think that's about all. So Slim and Grim are not going to push their luck here. They're going to get pushed back by the side of Metashift, farm some plates, and back off, but it looks like a play is going down top here. Call of the Forge God used to try to clear the wave. The Herald used as well to try to get some more damage on this turret. A good double knockup from the Searing Charge, but the Wukong Cyclone, I think, is enough. Crushing blow into the last tick of that Cyclone, but maybe Spies went too far. He flashes away from the Encore. The turret ramped up, kills the Shen, and Spies has to run away, get some covering fire from the Ash. So in the end, it is still a 1-for-1 on the top side. The Herald being used didn't actually break down the turret. So for Metashift League, they actually turned back and collapse on the play faster in response, making it so that the play was just only a one for one, which is pretty good for them right now, as we see Big Red in some danger, getting 4-man, and this is surely a dead Ashe. So great collapse play from the side of Metashift as they move on to this turret now. Sir Joey having used the Crescent Guard to get away from the Wukong, who's still very powerful with those 2 items. But I think in the counterpunch, finally, Metashift is actually getting something back.
Yeah, I mean, it's good catches from Metashift. Obviously, unlucky being true to his name, having to tank tower much longer than anticipated. The tower heat really does hurt, especially when you consider the Shen doesn't have any armor built other than the little bit of armor you have from Doran's helm. So yeah, I mean, he does have the unending despair completed now, but prior to that, it wasn't really much to remark at. So the Shen does go down. They're able to get a punish. They get another kill onto Big Red as well. So some decent moves finally coming through from Metashift. But they have to get ready for this dragon coming up in just about 15 seconds. You aren't going to have Crescent Guard from Xin Zhao. Annie Tibbers should be close to being up. I believe Aura's Encore will be available shortly after the dragon spawns. So they do have tools to play around with, but they're also contending with the fact that you can see the Int list have just such a good inside track on setting up for this dragon. So Metashift, they're just going to elect to go out to their lanes. They have to let this go. And that means it's going to be a free soul point for the side of the Int list. And if I'm being honest, when you have to contend with the additional survivability from Mountain Drake, your teamfight composition, it's going to feel a bit harder to pull off because you're already at a deficit.
Oh, wait. Blast Cone gets Aura away from the arrow, just barely gonna survive. I think if that arrow hit, that was an easy follow-up for Grim, for Slim to, jump on, get the charm, get the bubble. But like you said, yeah, like the Mountain Soul's going to be making it so that Metashift, Crab, Aura, like that burst from the ultimates is not going to be as effective. And it's going to be really hard to fight. I think, like you said, you kind of have to pick a moment to fight. And, looking at the items so far, I mean, I think the fact that both Annie and the Misfortune were on parity with the items, it's mostly just the Wukong that's quite far ahead of the lane opponent. Like, 2 items to 2 items, maybe that was your angle, but I do also understand Metashift League not wanting to walk into, a very dark river into a pick comp with the Ahri, with the Ashe. So, like you said, they're going to have to choose to fight around that soul, which is coming up in around 4 minutes now. I just don't know if the circumstances will be really any better for them around that, and that's something you have to fight for because Spy's extremely far ahead with those 2.5, with that 1.5 item lead. Crab actually ahead of their lane opponent now. Big Red being, getting jumped on in those multi-man plays, but still quite useful with the arrow with, that constant DPS. I think the question is true. Like, can Metashift actually find a good team fight, like that miracle team fight where they get the ultimates off, the Wukong doesn't just 1v9? I don't know if it's possible, as the arrow barely doesn't hit, the jump in with the Spirit Rush into the Charm, the Encore only hits 1, Spy's now deep in enemy territory as Sir Joey's fighting back. Called the Forge God is big, though. The heals are not enough to keep the Xin Zhao alive, as the Stand United is here. The taunt into the flash. Yes, it's a shutdown on the backline, but in the other side, Crab just barely getting away here. Joni Kiss taking a lot of damage. Spy's taken very low. It's going to be a kill onto Metashift, but Crab gets a huge shutdown on the Wukong, and there's just scrapping between these 2 top laners. And the team fight looked bad for Metashift, but they actually turn around to get 3. The flank from Metashift was so big, he practically kept one-shot Grim and kept Big Red out of the fight and ended up having that shutdown kill. I think Spies was just so deep in there tanking the damage for so long that eventually Crab could kill him. So, yeah, in the end, that was actually a pretty good fight. Turns the gold lead back into about 4K with some pretty big shutdowns. The IE now completed on the Misfortune is huge. So Metashift, maybe we counted them out a bit too soon as they took the team fight and they managed to claw it back. The Ornament's doing a lot of work there.
Yeah, and I think that's that's something worth saying here. The Ornaments are going to bring that gold lead a little bit closer. But the other part of that is, that's Metashift taking a team fight when they're roughly 5K down, right? Like, you're seeing that their team fight, like their composition is more than capable of picking apart the Int list. And the Int list has been so successful because they're finding kills, they're finding opportunities before the objectives come up. This time around, though, they just committed a little bit too hard onto Sir Joey. I think they kind of had the aspirations towards getting Baron if they could get this in Zhao and get out clean. But unfortunately, it didn't for them. It didn't happen this time. As you said, Metashift finding a really good flank angle, as well as Crab having pretty much being able to fully channel bullet time onto the int list
Oh, arrow
feels really,
missed it.
really good.
Oh, Crab
And Big
walking
Red
up to
might
the
be in a bit of
fight. The
trouble.
bullet time, the flash forward, but it's Crab trading 1-for-1. It's a flash ultimate from Aura, but no, look at Spies with the Nimbus strike. It's a double kill given over to Slim as he just executes him with the Spirit Rush. As we see the charm hit the Ornn, Jonik in some danger, Searing Charge away. And as we were seeing Crab's praises, I mean, he goes mono-e-mono with Big Red, and they take each other down. But on the other side, it's Metashift also giving over their support. Is there enough
Metashift has flash.
defense? It's a 3v4. Yeah, flash available. Tibbers hits 2 into some big damage. Spies actually has to flash away, but Metashift taken solo by the Ahri damage. So in the end, it is just ultimate traded for the Wukong flash. And both these teams are on a knife's edge. We just saw how much damage Crab could do if he gets the full combo. I mean, Big Red, I don't even think was expecting that to come out of the Misfortune. The firepower being so huge with that 3.5 items, the IE being completed, actually flashes to try to get away, can't actually live, and then it's the entire team of the Intless collapsing to get 2 kills on the return chase, but they cannot take that tier 2 turret, and it is Dragon Soul. This fight is going to be huge here, True. Spawning soon, about 15 seconds. Crab and Big Red trying to scrap over the mid wave, but the stun, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, it's just Crab going down before the fight even starts. That's the biggest lead for Metashift, and now they have to try to fight this without their AD carry. They're sprinting away, as I think it's going to be the Endless going for that tier 2 first, and then booking it straight to the Dragon to claim the soul.
Yeah, I mean, like, because this is still a desperate situation for Metashift, because they're still at this spot of like, okay, well, we can't back yet because we can't make sure that they're gonna they're gonna rip our pace, they're gonna break into our base no matter what. So we should get the dragon, stop the dragon stacking for now. Like, we take the loss because we can't really take the fight because Crab is down. We don't have our bullet time. We don't have that strong team fighting ability. So they take the consolation prize in stopping the dragon stacking for now, but their base gets broken open and they're going to lose that tier 2 top too.
Yeah, I mean, the gains, I'm not sure how you feel about this, Drew. I'd like to hear your thoughts. It looks like they might be positioning around this Baron. They're sweeping a lot of this red side jungle and maybe just going to start it. Okay, I think they're.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, they're gonna back off, but I want to get your thoughts on this, True. Like, is it go for Dragon Soul because you're, 10 times out of 10 winning that fight now that you've completely one-shot the enemy AD carry that is the gold lead, or do you get that short-term gain now with like the mid tier 2, the top tier 2, and like the mid tier 3 and the inhib? I just want to hear your thoughts on if you feel that Intless, would have benefited more from that permanent long-term buff in favor of giving over the, not having as much gold. There's always an opportunity cost of, I have to wait a little bit more time and give Metashift League more, pretty much give Metashift League more time and ability to farm. But I do have the pressure of getting the super minions in the base. So happy to hear your thoughts on which one you think would have been more worth.
So on one hand, I think that there's a very legitimate argument to be said about not wanting to give Metashifts like the room to breathe, right? Like, they're in this situation where the longer they can stall things out, the better things will look for them. As we already pointed out, the ornaments are coming through. Wait, that's arrow going on to Joey.
Oh, that is gone. A huge pick.
Yeah, and so, like, on one hand, yeah, like, do you really want to give Metashift this room to breathe, this longer time around the dragons? No, you absolutely don't. But the other part of it is that Metashift already being down 3 dragons, they're forced into a situation where they have to fight for everyone, and you can kind of strategically choose what you want to do.
Flash charm. The Cyclone sends it in, and now the Stand United for the taunt. The bullet time just here for the covering fire, but a Crab is just going to get run down now. This Crab is getting chomped on by the side of the Monkey King, and it's just going to be one after another. Metashift look completely distraught as their team is just falling apart. Sir Joey is back in 4, but it's just him and Jonik trying to defend this, and there is a super wave marching its way in the mid lane. I mean, yeah, I guess you don't really need Mountain Soul when you just take the fights and win them afterwards here, True.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point. Like, they already know that they're at a lead. They're not going to be terribly bothered giving up a single Drake if they can win the map harder. Now, they are able to clear the wave here.
Yeah,
and it's a long time for another. It's a long time for the next minion wave. So, the int list, they actually don't get anything out of it. They get some damage on the Nexus turrets, but they are able to. So Metashift is able to hold. But I do think that the int list decided, okay, we'll take the map pressure because Metashift is in this position where they're fighting desperately for every opportunity, which means the moment they make a mistake, it's an angle to be exploited, which is kind of what just happened there. Now, Metashift did luck out insofar as Ornn and Xin Zhao were able to clear the wave off. That's not something they can do in perpetuity, especially as those death timers get longer and longer as we're cresting over the 30-minute mark. Metashift redeploying out onto the map, and Baron is up, but Dragon's coming up in just under 90 seconds.
Yep, Dragon and Baron are going to have a synced timer if the time stalls out a little bit longer. Jonik is trying to clear this ward, but he's in some danger here. He's just taking so much punishment, gets charmed up. The wind becomes lightning hits. Oh, a huge flash stun into the bullet time, into the Call of the Forge God, gets 3 on the backline. Metashift still alive. Spice has to run away with the Cyclone, and what a huge combo from the Annie. Metashift turns it around as the double up gets the shutdown on Spice once again, and that is the miracle team fight we were talking about. True, you just need one angle. A huge 3-man flash Tibbers from Metashift keeps them in place into the full combo from Jonikis and the bullet time from Krabadabadoo, and that is Krabadaba done. They get the Baron buff off of that, and that was exactly what you want to see out of this comp. The 4-item Misfortune just tears them to pieces with that ultimate, and I think what was a pretty in-control game for the Endless is starting to spiral out of control as the gold lead now only about 3k. Dragon is going to be up for both these teams to fight over the bonus stats from the Baron, going to do some work there, and I think it's going to come down again to this soul fight. Can Metashift find that angle again without the Annie flash? That was so huge from them, but you don't get it again for this one.
Yeah, I mean, that was exactly the sort of fight that Metashift had been hoping to pull off with this composition, and that gold lead only gets smaller and smaller, and the timer keeps ticking down. Like, that means that the gold lead gets less and less relevant over time. This Ornn is just insanely tanky, too. Like, yes, that's a really healthy chunk onto Jonikis, but even with that chunk, the Ornn isn't all that bothered. Metashift, they're still in this situation where they do need to be playing defensively, but now they're very well aware of the fact of how healthy their composition is. Those ornaments have come through, and now the Endless, they're in this situation where they're trying to force a mid lane push.
Oh, call the
now Big Red seems to be caught out.
And it hits him, but he's just too far away. There's no follow-up. Sir Joey getting a bit too close, but Jonikis going for the flash steering charge hits nothing. Sir Joey now in a 1v1 with Spies. It's Jonikis, I think, getting taken down low, and the Encore only hits 2 as the taunt in forward. Jonikis still alive. Sir Joey with a huge ultimate. Can Metashift do the damage as Crab is looking for the angle for the bullet time? It keeps out. Oh my god, just one-shot Big Red as the 3 waves of the bullet time are enough to kill the Ashe, who could not flash away, and now it's a 4v5. They had another charm on Jonikis, who has to dash away. Metashift is in the bush, but he's on vision. It's a TP back from the Shen. He does have the stand united and is going to be able to rejoin the fight. Can the side of Metashift secure the Dragon before Spies gets in range? We'll have to see as Spies flashing forward, gets the stand united. Cyclone, it's a flashback from Crab, the barrier used, but the taunt on top of the blast cone means you cannot get away. Crab burning both summoners to get away from this, and now it's going to be the Endless in a 4v4. Annie's over the wall, but Spies and Shen, Unlucky Canadian, both very healthy, and Jonikis is not, and the Dragon is still here as Spies jumps in. Shen gets the taunt on the Annie as Metashift's just going to get melted. He gets the Tibbers down before he dies as Grim tries to run away, dies to the Tibbers burn as we see Sir Joey just 1v1ing Slim Pimpin on the backside. Spies gets the kill onto Aura. Now it's just a 2v2 in this bear.
Arrow's going through.
Sir Joey, the arrow hits. Sir Joey's still alive, but he gets killed by the bonk down, and now it's just Jonikis in a 2v1 that he cannot win. Shen and Wukong are going to hit him with the Bash Bros combo. The arrow stuns up Sir Joey for just long enough, and the just huge wallet diff between the Wukong and the Xin Zhao make themselves known in that last fight. It was Jonikis and Sir Joey scrapping, and it looked close until it wasn't, but the Wukong with just 3 extra items means that they win that one out. The arrow for extra candy on top, baby, and it's going to be Mountain Soul secured for the Endless to stop that upfront burst from Metashift League.
Yeah, it looks so dicey for the side of the Endless. You know, they weren't able to find the fight. You did see Jonikis commit like really aggressively for the flash, but the Ornn is so tanky he can reposition. But like what the real highlight of it was initially was Crab. With that bullet time, it's so much damage that it completely melted through Big Red. So you're coming away from that thinking like, okay, well, Metashift just got the pick on the Ashe. MF is still up. They have the angle to take that Dragon, but Metashift does not walk with the rest of the team. They push through mid lane, and get completely caught out. They're able to kill the Misfortune. And if Crab isn't in these fights, if Crab can't melt through the Intlist's team, then it's really, really hard for Metashift to execute what they want done. Yes, I would say Metashift himself is a pretty dangerous threat on this Annie, but the Ornn, just the beef line, or sorry, just the beefcake, just the front line. The Xin Zhao is really there for disruption more than anything else too. And that really just leaves you with Seraphine, who is there to play off of that front line, off of the Annie. So, like, Crab has become such an important linchpin for this team that if the MF is not available, Metashift's game plan is so much harder to execute. And you're seeing that in effect as now the Intlist, they come away with that soul. Baron is up in under 90 seconds. Elder is up in under 4.5 minutes. And I do think that, like, the longer this game goes, the more concerning things are for the Intlist, because Crab represents such a huge problem. And now Joey does have a GA in the inventory to extend his life out a little bit longer, to make those picks potentially less meaningful. But, like, I think that it's still a delicate situation for both of these teams, because the longer you get in, the more it is just that one team fight, one champion going down at the wrong time can really spell the end of this game. And I think that it's just delicate for both teams. I think that both teams are kind of scared to walk forward. You can certainly argue that the Intlist should feel a little bit more comfortable since they still have their tier 2s up, but it's 36.5 minutes roughly into the game. Like, that one team fight, I think, probably ends it for either team if it's clean enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you there, True. Like, one team fight is all it takes to win here. And you can see that apprehension from the Intlist, right? Like, before, earlier in the game, they were kind of going for those, like, heavy engage into the enemy jungle plays, but they can't afford to risk it right now. Oh, Slim actually just instantly popping that Spirit Rush in fear of getting caught by something like the Call of the Forge God, as this Baron is about to spawn soon. Mid lane Prio going over to Metashift. Like, we see Big Red's not even going to walk up on the wave anymore, just being a bit too scared, because the Misfortune can absolutely melt someone in 2 to 3 auto attacks, being almost at that legendary 7 item full build 80 carry. But on the other side, it is Unlucky Canadian on the bot side getting some waves crashed in. I think it's going to be the Metashift League going to have to go for the Baron quickly, or forcing a fight, because they can't afford to let the Shen just stay here. It is Jonikis backing here, but he is on vision. Has to walk away. That is already a tier 3 down. Crab is going to make it there with the strut, but can they make it fast enough back to stop the Baron take? As now it's going to be Metashift being collapsed on. Does Spies know the arrow gets flashed away from, but the speed from the Wukong, the Stand United activated the flash. Metashift is just dead from the outset. It's going to be the Baron started here from the Intlist. Misfortune still not here for the fight for the bullet time, and that is just so key. Metashift looking for the flank, gets caught out by themselves, and that's going to be the freebie Baron over. No turrets in the mid or the bot lane for those inhibs, so the next push might be the last. The Intlist secure that one. They have the Baron, they have the Soul. Will they take this opportunity to take the fight, or do you think they're going to maybe just wait for the Elder here, True? I feel like they're choosing to back off. They're hitting the brakes just a little bit, reconvene with the team, and then go in for that last push.
I think that they're still a bit concerned, right? Like at the end of the day, like, not just thinking about Metashift's praises about high damage, but the other thing is that Metashift's Crab has accrued so much gold through a huge farm advantage over Big Red that I think it's like a full item ahead.
Oh my lord!
Maybe 2. Like, it's substantial, right? That's why Crab is hitting so hard, because he's farmed so much, and that bonus gold from the ADC quest, just translates so well into those items, and that's why Crab is just such a massive threat for the Intlist here. And I think that's why Intlist, like, they've been given pause. Right?
Oh, wait, Arrow hitting the Cyclone, the Flash Encore to try to save the Annie, but I don't think it's enough, as Spy's going to kill him with the Crushing Blow. Spy's jumping back in. Now Slim jumping forward with the Spirit Rush means it's a double kill. Sir Joey popping the Crescent Guard. The bullet time only went to 1, but he gets the execute with the autos. That is so much damage. Crab is so dangerous right now. They have no tools to stop this Misfortune. as Spy's tanking up a little bit. It's a 3v5, and the Shen is causing some havoc in the side lanes, but the return kill from Crab. The rapid fire cannon allows you to get that 3-shot so quickly. I think it's actually bugged, and now they got the slow. The Call of the Forge gone onto the Shen. He's taken low, but look on the other side. It's Sir Joey in a 3v1 as Crab is getting jumped on. Can he kill Spies fast enough? Even through the GA, he gets the GA pop. He flashes away. Big Red flashes to follow, and I think surely this must be the fight. This must be the win. This must be the game, as Jonicus now stuck in a 1v4. This Ornn is tanky, but not tanky enough to live through the shred of the hopes and dreams. It's a triple kill for Big Red, and just off that last couple of team fights, it was Metashift getting caught again and again. Yes, it was Crab being very far ahead, but it's not one person, it's a team that makes the team fight, and it's going to be the Intless in a very long, drawn-out 40-minute banger, taking game 1 in this best of 5. Hello, everyone. We return to Game 2 of the Franchise Premier League Season 4 quarterfinals between Metashift League and the Intless. The Intless, after a long and drawn-out Game 1, did manage to take down their opponent, but in Game 2, Metashift, they lock in some comfort, they lock in some wackiness to try to shift things in their favor for this Game 2. Once again, it is myself, Kebin Dunk, on the play-by-play, joined by the lovely True, the OG of this league, on the color cast, and we're backed up by the amazing Popdar on production. So yeah, start of this game. I'm not really sure how Brand AP carry plays, but I'm sure that against something like the Sivir Lulu, he'll and having the Leona in tow, it's going to be Aura and Crab looking for those early fights, because I'm sure they want the scrap back, considering what happened to their early laning in Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, like, the lanes didn't go so great for MSL in Game 1, as you said, and that led to a very painful mid-game. They almost clawed it back in the late game. That being said, Brand AP carry is pretty much like you play Brand pretty much the same no matter what. You are so heavily focused on harassing. The only difference is that when you are playing Brand in lane, you have to farm a bit more than not, right? Like, as a support, as a jungle, you're more freed to do what you want. As a carry, it's far more. It's far more the landscape of trying to match your time with harassing with also efficiently farming and not burning through your mana.
Yeah, I think one really cool thing, though, also is that, just this is for me not playing enough AP carries in the bot lane, because I'm not a degen. I'm a real AD carry player. I play the ranged auto attackers. But the thing is, like, that bonus gold that you get from the role quest is actually really, really strong on AP carries, because the fact that you just hit your second and third item spike, which is kind of where AP control mages kind of hit their, that's like where they're strongest, right? Your ratios and your kind of like levels are so high that you can just like completely destroy people with your full combo. You hit that way faster with that gold acceleration. So for Crab, who's gonna want to buy like some of these big ticket items, like what we were talking about, right? Like the anti-heal, like the Rylai's for the slow, like the Leandries for that max health burn. This guy's in a very, very good spot, if he's able to get that gold lead. Just being able to essentially get to those early items faster and just make a team fight impact before, sometimes 80 carries, you really realistically need that 3 items before doing something. So I'm happy to see if Crab and Aura can actually do something. I'm not sure exactly what I'm seeing here. It looks like Aura helped out Viego to try to secure that bottom scuttle, so it is just going to be Spies knowing that he does not have his bot lane in a good position to help, so they're going to go straight over to that top side scuttle Crab.
Yeah, and that's for a fact, like a number of reasons. I think. Oh wait, it's like Sir Joey's coming in for a gank.
I feel like it's just gonna be Slim popping the pool and just walking away, right?
Well, like that's why I was saying, like, as Vladimir, you're just so safe. Like, it is so easy to be unbothered as the champion.
Okay,
wait.
There's an early roam from Aura. Sir Joey is still here, leeching a bit of XP. So Aura being seen on there means that Big Red can get the push with the Ricochet in the bot side. So unfortunately, again, Metashift can't find much. Oh my gosh, that is almost a kill. Solo bolo from Mr. Bouse himself, Unlucky Canadian on the Scion. So Jonik is in a bit of danger here. I'm a bit surprised, actually, that the Cho'Gath is on the losing side of these trades. But, I mean, he is a wave up, so I don't think Jonicus is that mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a similar thing for Cho'Gath as it is with Brand. Like, your passive does give you sustain, right? It's probably one of the more annoying things that people have to contend with the Cho'Gath. We do see Spy stuff there in the river. potentially looking for a gank opportunity as Jonicus keeps pushing that wave in.
Oh, Roar of the Slayer gets the slow. Spies hits the cleaver, but I don't think they're close enough to actually get
It's a
the kill
tough
yet.
angle.
It
Yeah.
is a very tough angle, yeah.
But like that's the thing. For Cho'Gath, your abilities do cost a ton of mana, so you do need to be farming correctly. And if you're constantly using your abilities, it is a bit annoying to walk up. The other thing about this is that Infected Cleaver is just such an annoying ability to lane against when you play against it because or not Infected Cleaver, right? My bad. Scion. The Soul Furnace less the Smash is a lot of damage to contend with. It pushes forward the wave, but also the Soul Furnace shield pop does deal percent max health damage as magic damage. So that is something that Cho'Gath might get a little bit annoyed by. That being said, Jonicus is in a rather healthy spot, even being down Flash here. To touch on something that you mentioned earlier, Brand being in this bot lane is really frustrating for Grim in particular because Enchanter supports, and really just every champion in general, you don't have a great amount of MR growth. So going for an AP carry in this bot lane does mean that you as the support, especially if you're on an Enchanter, are just that much more vulnerable to what the enemy the enemy bot lane carry can pump out, which is why you're really seeing Lulu have to play on the back foot or really just stick to Sivir as much as possible. I will say though that even though this is a very comfort-oriented composition for the side of MSL, so far they haven't really been able to pull anything off yet. There haven't been any ganks, there haven't really any fights for those neutrals. It seems like everyone is contenting themselves with just farming it out in these lanes.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty chill. I mean, that bot lane prio that we were talking about means that Crab and Aura force back Big Red and Grim. I feel like Big Red is using a lot of the mana to try to, keep up with the wave being shoved in. Like you said, the Brand passive being, it wasn't like this all the time, but now I believe you get a little bit of mana back on minion kills if you hit them with the passive burn. Back in the day, you'd used to have to buy mana items on this guy, but jokes aside, it is, good for the fact that they leverage that bot prio to get Sir Joey that early dragon, right? I think Viego's, of course, one of those champions that likes to power farm along with Dr. Mundo, but the fact that you get that early drag means that you're, being able to accelerate that win condition when especially Mundo, Sion, and Vlad are these champions that like getting to that very, very late game with the constant health stacking of all these champions. So we're already seeing meta shifted by that early Executioner's Calling. I think it's a great pick. You don't have to be as worried about this guy out sustaining you, but it does, delay your first item a little bit. I mean, he still is down about 3 waves of farm. It's just a quite hard lane for the Yone to play. But ultimately, the fact that Yone is taking the time to scale and hasn't really felt the pressure yet, I'd say, from the side of the Intless means that they're in a pretty decent spot.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. It's nice to have the executioners. The only problem with it, so to speak, is when the windows of when you're able to make that grievous wounds feel more meaningful. Obviously with Vladimir, your transfusion, your Q, it's every 3 casts where you get that big burst of healing from it, and if you're not getting that,
Big Red
isn't
popping
no.
the ultimate, exhaust used, cleanse used, wild growth as well. Aura's not level
For
6 yet, it's a flash away, but Big Red is fully ramped up, is gonna get the kill. First blood for the bottom lane here, stunned up by Aura, who has to flash away, and the auto attacks continue to hit true as Big Red doing some more big damage, but it's not enough to get the kill on Aura, as it is Dr. Mundo Spies making it to the bot lane. I don't think they can get the dive unless the Leona stays, but they are going to crash in that wave, and a great play from the bottom lane of the Intlist, immediately seeing that the Brand was just stepping a bit too far up, means they get that first blood onto the Sivir.
Well, yeah, Crab was rather confident. Look for the stun, but look for the stun with Seer. But the problem with it is that Big Red holds Spell Shield, negates the stun proc, and even though the big circle from Brand's passive is stacked up there, it's just not strong enough this early on. They're able to trade back effectively. That's the other thing here that I think is kind of frustrating for Brand. Lulu's shield is so anti-burst oriented that you as Brand feel really bad having to contend with it. And as you said, Crab stepped up a little bit too far forward. It's a really good punish from Big Red as well as Grim. Get that first blood for the Sivir, kind of get you oriented accelerated into that state where you're just able to constantly shove waves rather safely. Not the end of the world, though. I think the bigger problem at large is that MSL are just progressively falling behind in their lanes. The kill obviously working against Crab, but Metashift down on farm. Jonicus now also, roughly even on farm, but the other part of it is that Sir Joey is just a couple of camps behind too.
Oh,
So it's not great.
Crab
Crab is
in danger,
out of
getting the big
position.
burst though, getting the Pyroclasm, but Sir Joey is now here for the gank. Flash forward with the stun Heartbreaker to secure the kill on Big Red, as that's Grim actually dodging the stun, but getting rooted up by that Zenith
Looking
blade.
for it.
Heartbreaker forward means Grim is taken so low, but I don't think they can secure the kill. It's the Wild Growth that keeps them alive. Spies gets the kill onto Crab, but Crab gets big damage on the way out, as it's going to be the roam from Metashift. Fate Sealed secures the kill, as it secures the kill on, Spies. Oh, he's going for it. Metashift flashing forward with the Soul Unbound. Can he get the kill on Grim? It does. Fate Sealed securing 2, baby. It's a double kill for Metashift off that roam. He might be losing lane, but hey, there's always free time for the mid laner to farm the bot lane, as it's going to be a 3-kill turnaround against the Intless, who just got the 1. Big plays from both the jungler and the mid laners of Metashift to turn it around and get some much needed kills to start accelerating these melee carries.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great for Metashift in those situations to be able to pull the roam off, get those 2 kills, and equalize out the gold that you've been falling behind in from farm. In good on Crab, right? Being able to survive in that situation for long enough that your team is able to collapse and get the punish off. Honestly, Crab almost survived. It really wasn't Spies, aggressively running the brand down. That could have just been a situation that's really clean for the side of MSL, but not quite. They do lose the brand, but Metashift should feel much more confident now that you're getting the work components in. You're able to cut through that health stacking that Vladimir can have.
Yeah, absolutely. And same thing with Sir Joey, right? Like, he does hit that Kraken Slayer, which is a pretty decent one-item power spike for the Yone. Like you said, Metashift almost on that Bork after those 2 kills means that Slim actually has to respect him now in the lane. Yes, it is a pretty big farm deficit, but I think those 2 kills run it back, as it's only, I think it was about a 2k gold lead earlier, and now it's just a 1.6k gold, as Slim has to pull away. Metashift in some danger, dodges the cleaver though, and Sir Joey is now here. Heartbreaker to make it in, and there's no pool available, so they secure the kill on Slim, and now Spies going down to the Vladimir damage, and it's going to be Metashift picking up another one for a killing spree. Great mid-jungle synergy again. You love to see it from Metashift League. Means that Metashift, the man himself, picks up another, and now is just going to run away with the lane. Getting to farm plates as well is so huge for this Yone. Again, we talked about the matchup. It should be in the favor of Vlad, but with the help of Sir Joey on his Comfort Viego pick, means that Spies and Slim go down, and Metashift League are in a great spot now at a 500 gold advantage over their opponents.
Yeah, and things are going great for Metashift this time around. Not only are you getting so much gold onto Yone and Viego, who are the 2 champions you want it on the most, and I'll get into that later, but you're also getting those neutral objectives stacked up yourself, right? You have the single stack Ocean, single stack Cloud. It's going to be a chem map, which for champions as volatile and as squishy as Viego and Yone can be, having that extra bit of survivability, even in a delicate situation, might mean the world for them. So I don't mind that at all. Yeah, great spell shield, as you said, from Big Red. The other thing that I do want to point out here is that it's going to be harder and harder for Slim to be dealing with. Oh man,
it might be harder for him now, as he has to flash away from the Q3. Sir Joey with the gank, making that Vladimir get forced out. Even with the pool, has to burn the flash. So you're speaking about it here, True. It's rough, and it's going to continue to get worse for this Vladimir.
Yeah, this is a situation where you kind of feel like Slim is thinking man, things are going great in lane, and then Metashift goes bot lane, comes back with two kills worth of gold, and all of a sudden, I'm losing. Things were going fine, and now they're not going fine. Now Vladimir is getting really, really pressured here. The other issue in that fight for Mundo for Spies was that yes, you're a tanky. Oh wait, Big Red's in trouble.
Here. Big Red getting rooted up with the Zenith Blade, the Pyroclasm in time of the exhaust, but Crab with the burn down still gets it. Flash forward for the Seer stun. Is the Blaze proc enough to deal the damage? It is not, as Aura's taking up big damage. Crab takes up heated up turret shot. The Cleaver gets blocked by Aura, but now Metashift is here. Can this Viego turn it around? Or sorry, this Yone turn it around here? These 2 look the same with that skin, but Metashift's roam makes it so he bails out the bot lane. Surely you'd think that Spies could have got a double for if not for the Yone, excuse me, making it to the fight. Flash into the Spectral Maw, gets the stun. Slim taken low. Heartbreaker perfect on time of the pool exit, and it's Slim Pimpin going down once again. Sir Joey on comfort is absolutely killing it. Now 3 kills on the Viego. I mean, you spend money on that skin for a reason. As Metashift going in, Fate Sealed hits 2, gets the kill on the Lulu on the
Oh,
backside. Now Sir
dear.
Joey roaming to it now. Big Red going down as soon as they make it back to lane. It's a double for Metashift, and now it's another kill for the bot lane as Sir Joey reaps his soul and Crab burns him to death. It's going to be a 4-kill banger for the side of Metashift as they go mid, they go bot, they get everything on this map, and it's Metashift coming to life in this game 2 early game. Now 3.5k ahead before 15 minutes. It is them punching back hard in this early game, and I think, true, we love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we speculated that this might be what ends up happening because, like, especially for Sir Joey, Viego is the champion that the guy loves. I mean, it's the guy's main, it's his one trick, and I think very consistently when Sir Joey has had it, oh man,
they can chew. Is there enough damage? There is. Wait, Pillar of Flame into the Seer, just barely missing. Crab, I don't think can catch up fast enough. So unfortunately, Metashift, maybe we caster cursed him a bit by telling them how good of a game he's having, but he does get too aggressive and does go down too slim after he pulls away.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, Yone at 5-0, right? Like, how many times are you going to see that? Like, you're going to feel a bit like a god. Like, you can do no wrong. Granted, Vladimir is just another one of those champions. Once again, Pool, one of the most frustrating abilities in League of Legends to fight against because it is pretty much like a Zanya's on a basic ability. And by virtue of it, Slim Pimpin's able to come away with a kill. Not really get out of the hole, get out of the deficit versus Metashift, but that is some much needed, at least mental restoration for the Vlad there. But I think that the problem is that even with that kill, right, the endless, like the landscape of this game doesn't really change because you don't really have an answer to the Yone, you don't have an answer to the Viego. And that's just getting increasingly problematic, especially now that Crab has kind of walled himself out of the deficit that he was previously at this ramp. So it feels like, at least to me, that, shift, using Fate Seal to get out.
He's in some danger, Blast Cone over, but he just goes in the face of the bottom lane. Polymorph used. It is a 4v3 here, as it's going to be with that extra free time, though. Sir Joey securing the Rift Herald. So Spies looks for the angle. The Fate Sealed gets Metashift out. And I think the Yone wastes the time, and Sir Joey's going to pop this Herald mid to crash in. I think surely this is going to be the turret.
Yeah, it ought to be. And that's why I was saying, like, nothing's changed for the Endless here, right? Like, their game is still extremely rough to play because they don't really have anyone that's like properly capable of locking down this Viego or this Yone, and the brand is a huge problem because he's clawed himself out. He's working on that second burn item in Leandri's. If you're not able, like we talked about this, their CC is not really existent, right? Like, their ability to start a fight is not really existent. And I think the Endless, it's only going to go from bad to worse for them from where we are because they have so few tools to dictate how fights go, to force something to happen, and it's just going to keep working against them here. Like, yes, your Scion's been farming pretty well, but Scion's been locked in lane, and if you don't even have Scion, you're kind of just waiting for something to happen. You're waiting for somebody on Metashift to screw up, and it just hasn't been the case so far. Like, you're potentially staring down a 23-minute soul for Metashift, and it kind of feels like there's just nothing that Endless has done positively to change my mind and say that they can kind of contest the game and keep it going.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I mean, yes, Unlucky Canadian is keeping parity with Jonikis's Cho'Gath, but I don't think Scion's going to be the be-all, end-all for the team fights later. Like, yes, Scion can be tanky, but hey, against a 2-item Viego and a Yone and a Brand, like, that guy is going to not live very long if the opponent gets free time. I think the one thing I do want to highlight is the int list, the fact that Slim Pimpin is still on, like, pretty even on gold with the 2 items. The Riftmaker, Proto Belt is a pretty big spike for the Vladimir. He starts one-shotting the waves, he starts soaking up the gold really quickly, and if he gets a good team fight angle where you don't lock him down, it's just as volatile as something like the Viego or like the Yone. So it really is about that matchup between these short range bursty carries. Like, can the Yone actually lock down the Viego fast, or sorry, the Yone lock down the Vladimir with the Q3 or something, or can the Viego do that with the Spectral Maul before the Vladimir actually get the full combo off, as Slim already forced out, but getting a huge heal from that powered up transfusion. And ultimately, it is a very volatile game, right? Like, when you have something like the Yone, like the Viego, these champions can pump out so much damage. Like, if a single CC hits, they're just gone. But now, unlucky Canadian, maybe in some pressure here, the dive is happening as they're trying to go for the turret first. I don't think they can get it, though. They don't have the minions anymore, but they're just going for it. Jonik is just going to tank it up, and it is going to be an unstoppable onslaught, keeping the Scion.
I don't think that he can actually...
I think they can get it, but
that turret, okay, yeah.
Oh, Slim looking.
One might argue that those. I think Slim's okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Fine. Now he's looking for the Yone, who does snap back. So the empowered transfusion would have been a big chunk there, but Metashift managed to fly back. It's mostly just them testing each other to see who messes up.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that committing so much time under turret for a tower doesn't necessarily feel very efficient. But they're kind of at the point where they're not too bothered and they're able to look for it. Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes. That's going to be Metashift's big opportunity this game to really start putting the nails in the coffin. But it kind of feels like they're...
That is Hemoplague 4 flash before this fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, it kind of feels like their aggression's kind of stalling out a little bit, right? Like, a couple of minutes ago, it kind of seemed like they were on fire, and they were forcing things to happen. They were making tempo plays. Now it kind of feels like Metashift. They're going back down to embers a little bit.
Whoa, this is away from Slim. Has the empowered transfusion, but Sir Joey is here. Spectral Maul after the flash means that Slim Pimpin's locked down. He tries to get away, but he cannot. It's Sir Joey again, reaping another soul with the Viego. Great bait from Metashift. Burning the flash from Slim means there was absolutely no chance of escape here. Can Spies and the rest of the bot lane actually do something here? He gets burnt down a little bit by Crab, who's just kind of bothering him, tickling him with the burn, but that burn does a lot of damage. That's about half HP from just one combo. Jonikis proto-belting forward, looking for the Rupture, you'd think. It hits, but he's not in range for any more follow-up. It is a TP from Metashift to try to get Prio in the mid lane. Sir Joey is here to make sure nobody else gets freaky around the Baron, and Dragon Soul is pretty early. It's up in less than a minute here as Big Red's flash forced away, but he still gets too close to the wave. Can Metashift get the kill? It's a Wild Growth for the knockup under turret, but it's not enough to kill the Yone, but that is Wild Growth, that is Flash, that is Cleanse, that is the Lulu Flash, all being burnt before what is practically 2 mega buffs here, as it's the side of Metashift going straight for the Baron after forcing out Spies, and surely you'd think they're going to go straight for that Cloud Dragon Soul after they secure this. They have so much damage, they burn through it so fast with the Yone, with the Viego, with the Cho'Gath being able to eat it, and they're walking towards the dragon, but Crab taking a cleaver, or about half HP. Spies looking for some damage. The mid lane turret is still here, but Aura taking a lot. The stun with the Solar Flare. Can they CC Slim Pimpin? He gets CC'd, but he doesn't die just yet. Is there enough damage? He gets a big heal from the transfusion. Spies popping the ultimate. The TP from Jonikis makes it back. It's a double kill from the Brand, who's just spreading the fire on everybody. Crab with that 2 items. It's just burning through the entire side of the Int list. Metashift jumping in with the Fate Sealed. Sir Joe getting the kill on Sivir, and Grim running away and finally manages to survive. But in the end, it's Metashift winning everywhere on the map. They get the Baron, they get the team fight, and now they're going to get the Dragon Soul. It is complete domination from them in this mid game, and they're going to continue it after that permanent buff here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a situation where if you are the list, you're kind of looking forward to game number 3. You lost out on the Baron, you're going to lose out on Soul here. Your one prayer in this game now is a Hail Mary Elder Seal into a solid fight. If that last fight showed anything, it is the problem with their composition here. Not only did they fall behind in lanes, but they just don't have a tool or really anything that's equalizing fights for them. You're contending with this Brand who is 4-2-3, Metashift who is 5-1-5, Sir Joey who's 5-0-5, and nobody's really threatening them. They got some decent damage down onto Aura, but the damage stalled out because Slim Pimpin has to completely disengage out of the fight. Big Red only really joins that fight at the very tail end of it. So when Sivir and Vladimir aren't really able to do anything in these fights, you really just have Mundo, Scion, and Lulu And none of them are going to be, high damage. Like, this is a champion that can carry this fight. It just doesn't really matter what they hope to do because Sivir and Vladimir have just been in such dire straits the entire time. So yeah, like the Int list is in a completely desperate situation this game, and a massive reversal of what we saw in game number one. And in contrast to that, I don't think that the Int list have really a composition or really anything that they can use to kind of get out of the hole that they're in.
Yep, Hole indeed, Soul Unbound hits into the Fate Seal, the jump from the Pain Train. Actually, Viego seed up a lot, Big Red, but just can't do the damage. Sir
Doesn't matter.
A double kill. It does not matter, as you said, True, as Crab is just burning down. Call it a summer campfire, baby, as he's just cooking them. Metashift jumps back in. It's a triple for Sir Joey and Grim. It just has to watch as his team just gets evaporated. There's really, like you said, nothing you can do. And excuse me, I thought it was a Cloud Dragon Soul because of the icon, but it's actually Chemtech. So they have, even when you get them low, these guys aren't dying because they get that damage reduction. And they'll just heal back up from the ability to lifesteal. So Sir Joey and Metashift were taken low, yes, but they got the damage reduction. They got heals back. They have the team behind them. Jonakis shows up just to make it to the party at the very end, and it's Grim alone with now a couple members respawning, but I think just surely this is an end to game two. Metashift League take the first one on the chin after a hard-fought battle, and they strike back true in this game two, baby, as they run it back, and they run it back hard after just completely blowing the Intless out of the water. And this one, 18 kills to 3. The Intless didn't even have a chance to breathe. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Franchise Premier League Season 4 quarterfinals between the Intlist and Metashift League. These two teams are scrapping it. It's the Intlist taking game 1. It's Metashift League taking game 2. And both wins, well, let's just say one was more decisive than the other, but these teams are rip-raring to go. I think they both want this pretty badly. I think Sir Joey had a pop-off game 2. Spies had a pop-off game 1, and it's really, I think, going to be a battle of the junglers once again. And again, it's the dynamic duo of Kebin, Dunk, and True taking you through the cast of this game, and we're backed up by the lovely Pop-Tart on production. But myself and True were just joking around before this game started. It's very much a T1-coded comp with the Jhin, with the Bard, with the Hui, even the Rek'Sai, I'd say. Let's see if Metashift League are, as True quotes it, are they regular season T1 or is it going to be Worlds T1 that we're seeing from Metashift today?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of team setup, like nothing terribly surprising from both of these teams. You do see the Tahm Kench and Malphite both have Grasp. The difference is that Jonakis does have Ignite on that Tahm Kench, so trying to play up the angle of having magic damage into the Malphite matchup. You also have a lot of healing, so maybe you're hoping that that angle for that Ignite can be meaningful enough to get you a kill or two in lane. The other really interesting thing that I want to point out is that Crab is going for Deathfire Touch on the Jhin, which, when you consider that Jhin does have 3 damaging abilities, although traps are not exactly one that I would point to as like very easy to land. Perhaps it's something that Crab believes will stack up. I think the other part of it is that because Jhin gets such high raw damage values. Oh wait, this is a pretty heavy trade here in bot lane.
Trading. But Aura's taking a lot of damage. He has to flash out. Crab now stuck in a 2v1. The ramp up from the lethal tempo, I think, is enough as the barrier baits the Jhin, but the barrier also baits the Jinx as it's going to be both AD carries going down. Both supports picking it up. Grim now fighting into the wave. Aura taking very low.
The Q.
Is there enough damage? He misses the Q. Is there enough damage from either of them? It's just a wet noodle fight as Aura gets the level up, and I think it's just going to be a stop there. Supportal combat means they both get a kill, but they also both can't kill each other in a funny turn of events. So first blood going over to the Grim, and Aura picking up that second one. So yeah, both teams just maybe not the best outcome, but it's a pretty funny one.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly a funny set of circumstances there. Crab and Big Red are going to come back into the lane. The thing is, it is more tragic for Crab because of how the lane state was when the Jhin goes down. The wave gets pushed in, and you can see Crab actually delay Grim's back there. But the wave gets pushed in, which means Big Red is able to come back into lane and get so much more CS back, and you're actually seeing Crab being a full wave down off of it, which feels horrible, right? You trade 1 for 1, but one person comes away with so much more because of how well stacked up that wave was. It was also kind of tragic on the other side of it because Grim just did not land the inner flame for the slow, wasn't able to finish off Aura, but here in mid lane, bit of a 2v2.
Yeah, mid jungle, scrapping against mid jungle, but Sir Joey has to back off after Spies is here. I mean, walking into a Lilia as the Rek'Sai is pretty tough, and Metashift doesn't actually have the damage to force out Slim. So in the end, it is just a trade of some damage. Ultimately, Slim is in a better position with that extra potion, but I mean, it is Sir Joey up to Sir Joey to get the ganks off as Slim
Zora.
dodging with the Frozen Claw, taking some damage here, getting rooted up, getting hit with that Severing Bolt, but it's not enough to get the kill. So again, Aura making the move is great, but it's not really going to be Metashift being able to cash in on that.
Yeah, the other thing, like the final little note there for that bot lane fight is that Aura and Crab burnt all of their summoners. Meanwhile, Grim was able to hold onto Flash as this Karma here. So just had that slight summoner advantage for the side of the int list. Taking a quick inventory of the other lanes, we did see a little bit of action in that mid lane. You did see that 2v2, as you mentioned, Spies and Slim Pimpin. I think having the slightly better edge of it, but Aura does kind of equalize that out with the Bard showing up there in mid lane, kind of driving that Lissandra away, forcing out that TP. Top lane, things are going reasonably well for Unlucky Canadian. Like, you know, you think, okay, well, I have magic damage, like, I should be able to play reasonably well into Malphite. The other thing, though, is that Tahm Kench, yes, you have Ignite, but like you're not quite there if you're like if we're going to talk about these like super consistent magic damage dealers that are really going to pressure Malphite. The other part of it is that Tahm Kench, as a champion, Tahm Kench's win rate's kind of abysmal at the moment. Like the guy is not having a great time, even after Riot gave him some small buffs. Like he just doesn't feel amazing to play, and it's more of a when you see Tahm Kench win, I think it's more of a result of people not being super used to playing against Tahm Kench as opposed to the champion itself being strong. And unluckily for Jonikis, it seems like the Unlucky Canadian is really unbothered by what is happening so far in the lane.
Yeah, exactly. I think one thing also is that Tahm Kench, you have to play him like a bit of a psychopath. I think, like you said, like with just going off win rates, this champion is not a super effective top laner, right? And Jonikis, you know, going for very short trades and using the tongue lash mostly for farming. You know, you walk up, you get the pokes, you get the autos, but Malphite just gets that Granite Shield back, and it's not really much you can do. And it's not like Tahm Kench can actually force Malphite under turret with the wave clear. I think that's what a lot of laners can do, is that you manage to just use your abilities on the wave, and Malphite can't actually trade back effectively because you crash in the wave, and they either choose to have to poke you back or farm effectively. But Tahm Kench doesn't actually have that pressure on the Malphite. So this top lane, again, this is a very late counter pick, right, for the Tahm Kench. So I'm a bit surprised that Jonikis is actually choosing to kind of play even against the Malphite instead of just going for the fights, when ultimately the Tahm Kench is going to be less useful in those team fights compared to the Malphite, as we see Sir Joey getting the magical journey in, but it's an easy flash away from Grim. Yes, he gets rooted up on the exit, but again, these ganking champions from Sir Joey are just not finding what they need to, and the lane opponent of the Lilia is already on a, I think that's 2 or 3 camp advantage against the Rek'Sai, who tried to look for ganks both mid and in bot and just cannot find a dang thing. And the Lilia's just the ticking time bomb of this reindeer, who I so hate playing against, is slowly getting to the point where she's going to just dominate you in that 1v1.
Lilia like is kind of like Gwen in some ways, of like this champion's oddly hard to catch, and she just does so much surprising amounts of magic damage that like it's annoying to contend with. Now, Aura Aura's really been active in trying to pressure Slim Pimpin here on this Lissandra, and it's working out reasonably okay for Metashift, as you're seeing this way, you know, building up a small farm lead over the Lissandra, but that's not really sufficient, right? Like they've tried pulling some things off in bottom lane. They did force out Grim's Flash, but that's kind of the advantage of Karma being able to sit on Flash for longer as opposed to, you know, those earlier fights. And the Jinx isn't getting pressure. Like, yes, Jinx has died once, but so has Jhin, and Jinx is maintaining a slight CS lead in this lane too. So overall, I would say that the Inlists are rather happy with how things are going thus far. They're accruing small leads, and those small leads will only build up over time if MSL isn't able to force an opportunity for themselves to happen. And I think it's kind of like, I think both teams kind of have similar game plans where you kind of want your junglers to get ahead early, but neither of them have been able to pull that off. And if you're not getting those ganks, if those are all a wash, it comes down to farm. And as you said, the Lilia is slightly outpacing this Rek'Sai in terms of that farm.
Yeah, and the one thing I totally agree with you, True, is that in the long game, the Inlist is so happy to just play it slow because in the late game they just have a better comp, right? Like this Jhin is going for a lethality build versus, the Jinx after hitting 2 of 3 items against the team that doesn't really have tanks. It is just going to have so much easier of a time piloting it. There's not that much backline threat outside of the Bard throwing out a stray ulti and talk. Oh, speaking of Bard ulti, there's one that burns the flash of Slim. So good angle there, but again, you just have to force more because I don't think that's enough an advantage. Just getting a single summoner this early in the game, as we see here. Glacial path forward into the root, and Spies is here. Grim as well. Flash away from Metaship, but he still gets rooted up by that focused resolve. Now the sleepy bubble. Oh my god, it's just gonna be the super mega death rocket it's securing before the sleep even pops off, and Sir Joey getting kited by the Lily. It gets hit with
The bowling ball.
It's gonna go down in this fight. We see a Devour being used top. Jonikis can't get much more than that, and in the fight mid, yes, it was Aura's Bard who got the first move. But in the end, it was just Slim turns it around with the Glacial Path, gets the Ring of Ice on Metaship's Hwei. He tries to flash away, can't, and then he gets rooted up by Grim, who gets him with that tether. And then after that, it's just lights out as Sir Joey just can't fight through all of this damage. There's the Karma keeping the shields up. There's a Rocket from downtown securing a kill for Jinx. And now Metaship League, who should be ahead in this early mid game, are starting to fall apart when they really are just trying to force the plays, and it's just not working out in any capacity.
Yeah, and it's problematic for them because it's not as though Aura is doing a bad job or not doing the right thing and looking for those mid lane roams. It's just that Lissandra is so slippery, true to being ice. Like, the champion is so safe because you have Claw. Your ultimate can be used as, a delaying tactic. You still have Flash. And because of that, Slim is able to stay away, then look for a re-engage angle with the Frozen Ground, getting the root, or the Ring of Frost, rather. And yes, MSL does come away with that early Infernal Drake, which feels really good on Hwei and Jhin. But at the end of the day, it's deflating to lose a situation like that when you've been trying to pressure the Lissandra so hard, you can't pull anything off. Now you're staring down this Lilia, who already has that completed Leandre's Torment, and this Jinx, whose game is only seemingly getting accelerated. So you have not only the assist from earlier, but an additional kill and assist to be 1-1 and 2. And Jhin really wasn't able to participate much in that fight. In contrast,
Curtain call.
They're trying to pull something off
Maybe
now.
this is going here as Sir Joey flashes forward to try to get an angle. The 4th shot lands. The Tempered Fate hits too, but Sir Joey, is he going to go for the turret? He gets the Void Rush under the stun hit as well. The Deadly Flourish not even needed to secure the kill, but they go very deep. The TP being channeled by Unlucky Canadian. Looks like Crab and Aura are going to get away, but I don't think this Rek'Sai is, as Sir Joey's going to go down. I think the ultimate was actually canceled by Jonikis, the teleport was canceled by Jonikis, excuse me, so Malphite can't make it to the play. Metashift roams down, but that roam is not really doing much other than securing that his bot lane doesn't die. He's actually losing quite a few plates in the mid lane, so in the end, it was a lot of summoners burnt. They do secure the kill on Jinx, but it is just only on the Rek'Sai, who did have to give over their life, so a very hard-pressed play for the side of Metashift to secure that one, but I just don't know if it's enough of an advantage, considering that the Lilia now has another kill and has free time in this enemy jungle, but maybe Spies went too far, gets rooted up by the Claw, gets stunned on the wall by the Cosmic Binding, Spiraling Despair used as well, the root as well, and it gets the shutdown onto Metashift. Sir Joey burning down, but doesn't go down to the Lilia burn. But oh my god, Spy actually Aura with that. So it is a trade of 1-for-1, but the shutdown does go over to Metashift, which is pretty big for the Hwei. So again, Spies getting just a bit too aggressive, gets punished for it, but still ends up walking away with a kill, means that the Lilia is already on 1.5 items. It's good for the side of Metashift, but again, is it good enough? That's we're gonna have to see if it is going into this mid game.
It is so dissatisfying if you are Aura in that situation to just die to that disgustingly long tick because of Leandre's plus Lilia passive. Like, it's frustrating, right? Because you did commit so much, and Lilia is so heavily out of position. But unfortunately, it does turn into a 1-for-1. They do get the Lilia, though, which is the more important thing. It's just annoying to die in that situation. Like, I think that if Metashift wants to be successful, like, that sort of fight needs to keep happening. They need to catch that Lilia out. They need to punish. I think that's the other thing that you do tend to see from Lilia players. So often, like, they build up so much movement speed that they feel like they can't get caught, and they try to push the bill further and further until it gets to a very punishable situation for them. And if MSL can keep pulling that off and they can, pick that Jinx off, kind of extend out the timer for that scaling, that should work in their favor. That being said, those were some good moves from in the past minute, like couple of minutes, but they're still at a deficit. The Lissandra has a bounty to herself, and I don't think that they've come up with a way to really address that ability to lock champions down from the int list. So MSL, if they want to claw themselves out of the hole, they kind of need to pull off those same couple of moves at least a couple more times. I will say, it's an interesting idea for the Jhin to have Deathfire Touch, because especially with his hubris, because you stack up so much AD, the Deathfire touch damage is going to hurt really hard. Crab might be in a bit of a dangerous spot, but here comes the Rek'Sai.
Making it to the roam. Big Red still secures the kill back. Sir Joey with the Void Rush, and the Queen's Wrath does secure.
Here too.
Makes some more happen. The Cosmic Binding doesn't get the stun. Sir Joey looking for it. The ultimate on the turret. Is the dive going to be successful? It is a flash away from Grim, who also burns the heal to keep himself alive. So it is Summoner's burnt, but the caster curse rings maybe a little bit too true for you, True, because Crab, as you were complimenting them on their build, and they immediately get blasted by the Jinx. So a trade of 80 carries, but still the Jinx is further ahead of the Jhin.
Yeah, and in contrast to what was happening in the previous game for MSL, right? There was that situation where you saw the Brand getting hit, and then you see the Viego come down, and it turns into such a positive situation, but it's a different champion this time, right? It's Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is not as dynamic, let's say, as Viego is, and Crab just melted so fast, to this Jinx Karma that they're not able to pull off the same positive moves that they did previously. But I will say the gold lead is not getting any bigger. Grim might be getting caught out here.
It hits, but the Fear doesn't. Is there enough damage? Metashift needs one last severing
be.
bolt. Does he hit it? He does. Gets actually a shutdown onto the Karma, and Sir Joey now flashing forward for the Unburrow. Gets the knock up. The Cosmic Binding is good. Are they going to donate it to Crab? They do not. Sir Joey is feasting on the bottom lane as they pick up two great moves from Aura, from Joey, from Metashift to see the bottom lane of the int list out of position, and they secure two to secure also a follow-up dragon. So, like we were talking about that just now, True. Like, the moves are good, and they're going to need to continue making these proactive mid-game plays if they're going to want a chance in this game.
Yeah, and now that gold lead that the int list had been accruing for themselves over time has completely evaporated. It's slightly favored over to MSL, which is exactly where they want to be now. And yeah, getting those kills, really Jinx has been starting to get extremely pressured by MSL now. Being from a situation where you were 1-1 to 2-4 is hard to contend with. Looks like the soul this map is going to be Cloud, which I would say, you might get some funny interactions from Tom Kench with a Cloud soul. I don't think it's necessarily vital for either team, at least the ultimate movement speed, maybe with the exception of, let's say, Lilia, perhaps Jinx, or even Karma. But the general amount of movement speed is always going to be nice. So that's something that both teams are going to have to keep an eye out for. The other thing I want to point out is that neither top laner has really had the opportunity to participate this game. They are unbothered, untethered, just sitting in this top lane, farming up a storm between the two of them. There have been some TP interruptions, but it's more like, hey, don't leave me. That it is, about the fights. It kind of feels like this game has been a 4v4 with a 1v1 in top lane.
Yeah, and it's not been an exciting 1v1, but maybe this one is. The knockup actually cancels that Glacial Path. There's likely going to be enough damage as the Frozen Tomb is a self-cast. Metashift throwing out the Spiraling Despair. Joey rooted up by the Ring of Frost, but I think surely, the Void Rush is going to secure it. Aura here to farm a little bit. Aura just standing there as Metashift and Sir Joey make something happen again. Jonah kissing unlucky Canadian again, just wet noodle fight continuously. But that is so big for, I think, Sir Joey to know that, he has the confidence to keep going for these plays, and they're working almost every time now. And that's the power of the Rek'Sai, right? You have such an easy engage tool. You have that really long tunnel for the burrow, knocks up at the perfect moment. And yeah, maybe if we can get the gold into the hands of the carries, I think the Hui is still a big team fight threat. You know, Malphite is tanky, but if you full combo him with the Hui on 2 items, that is enough burst to just run him down. I think the real question is all of these ganks that Sir Joey are doing enough to kind of outpace the power farming Lilia? Because as Pop Dart is, you know, jumping to the gold graph, that's a 1k gold lead in the hands of Lilia, kind of keeping the Int list, you know, not exactly on parity, but pretty close to it. Is the gold lead enough, right? And the longer I look at Jinx Lilia, the longer I go, man, this is at 3 items. These 2 champions are just going to go absolutely psycho in the fights as MetaShift looking for Jinx. Big Red, I think, is going to get away here. Magical Journey over, and they can't secure more, but they are pressuring the plates on the turret. But right now, it seems like again, I think we've stressed this enough times, but a chill game is really good for the Jinx Lilia as it gives them just so much time to scale and hit those item breakpoints. As Slim maybe in some trouble again, the cancel is not fast enough on Sir Joey's knockup, so Slim Pimpin gonna walk away flashes to avoid that severing bolt. So Hui starting to really hurt with the a near 2 item spike. So MetaShift and Sir Joey are linking up and making some good plays around the map. It's just about can they get the kills on the, you know, notable carries of the Jinx of the Lilia.
Yeah, and I do like MetaShift's itemization so far. Wait, Big Red
Tempered Fate
actually
is
getting
good.
pressured out.
Turn call activated as well. Is there enough damage to flash away from Big Red as Spies moves here? Flash into that
Lilia.
Lullaby. Sleeps 2. Sir Joey taking a lot of damage with the Void Rush is good. Can he survive long enough? But he's getting burnt down. He goes down to the Blooming Blows. Big Red taking a lot of damage from the Spiraling Despair. Glacial path forward, but Slim Pimpin can't get in range for the ultimate. Gets rooted up by that Deadly Flourish, and Unlucky Canadian makes it to the fight. Ults the air, but it's enough to scare away MetaShift League as they lose their jungler. And Spies, we were talking about it, the 2-item spike, baby. This Lilia is becoming a menace. They can't kill her. She can kite out the Rek'Sai in that straight-up 1v1, and she is starting to take names with those 4 stacks on the Dark Seal. If I'm MetaShift League, I'm getting a little bit scared about my scaling.
Yeah, I mean, that Riftmaker gives Lilia access to so much healing through her passive. Unlucky Canadian, this is a bad spot. You don't have all...
I think, actually,
caught out. Yeah, you're dead.
Is there enough damage on the Jonix? Actually kills him with the Tongue Lash. It did take a while, but they finally did it. You know, breaking rocks does take a lot of efforts as the entire team of MetaShift essentially just burned down the Malphite. So Jonicus, you know, picking that one up. Unlucky Canadian just in a bad spot. Slim Pimpin looking for the ultimate, though, takes a huge chunk. The auto start hurting, a nice double stun from the Barb, but he's still going to go down as Spies is now here in the fight. Jonicus looking for something. Sir Joey getting the Void Sea here, but Jonicus has to flash away, slowed up by the Bowling Ball. Is there enough zoning? The Super Mega Death Rock at the burn. The shield from the Pool of Reflection is good enough from MetaShift to keep Jonicus alive, unless, okay, the Bowling Ball just barely whiffs. Again, like, they get 1 pick on the Malphite, they burn everything to kill him, and they lose the Bard straight up, and they're gonna lose this Dragon because there's just not enough tools for MetaShift to fight. The slow of the Dragon stacking means the game likely is gonna continue longer, and longer is better for the Int list as the Jinx and the Lilia starting to approach critical mass here, true.
Yeah, like I was saying, like with Lilia, with her passive, with Riftmaker, it's opening up this issue of it's going to be harder and harder to deal with Lilia because she's going to have all that incremental healing, and you don't see any grievous wounds on the side of MetaShift. Like, the only person who has it is Jonicus with that Ignite, and otherwise, everyone else, like, you're just trying to burst her.
No, MetaShift gets hit with the Bowling Ball, gets the Fear out, though. The, Grim Visage actually keeps him alive for a little bit longer. So Spies does burn the Lilting Lullaby, and MetaShift actually lives to survive another day. Jonicus now on top of the Malphite, hits the Devourer on top of him. Is there enough damage, though? I feel like this is just another wet noodle fight.
Really?
Ignite is invested, and there's just not a lot of damage to kill this guy. Even though Unlucky Canadian doesn't have any MR, really, other than that Merc Treads, he's not that scared of the Tom Kench.
Yeah, definitely not. Wait.
Sir
Spies
Joey?
might be getting caught a little bit.
I mean, he's just so fast. He gets a single stack of the passive, and he just runs away with it. This deer is going Mach speed here, true. I mean, that's a 4-kill Lilia with 70 CS deficit, or sorry, advantage over Sir Joey. This guy is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it's definitely really hard to catch on to the Lilia. Speaking towards a top lane, champion matchup down there, bot lane, you are right. Like, the Tom Kench is starting to do a lot of damage, and you do see that completed Dusk and Dawn, which still gives you access to that double on-hit proc, but now also has healing attached to the Sheen proc. So it feels rather nice for Tahm Kench to have. Like, I think some people might argue it's still a like it's a situational borderline a meme item, but it can feel really awesome when you have that like almost instant stack of passive and you're able to devour a target. As you said, like the Tahm Kench, more than enough magic damage. Malphite has practically none, but because of the HP that Unlucky Canadian has been stacking up, you're really not all that bothered by it. The game is starting to get a bit longer in tooth as the Jinx is getting closer and closer to that critical 3-item point. But the other thing I want to comment on that I was like pretty pleasantly surprised to see from MetaShift is that early Banshee's Veil, right? It offers you so much consistent safety versus this Lissandra, because now Lissandra can't throw herself in and just easily ult you. Something else has to pop the ability or pop the spell shield beforehand. So it negates burst. It also acts as a little bit of a buffer to aggression, which has really been keeping MetaShift safe, in addition to also having so much MR on the way. I mean, how often do you look at a mid laner and be like, wait, he has almost 120 MR in 25 minutes. They are playing for this Lissandra once more.
Oh, Lissandra dodges out of the ultimate, has to use the self-frozen tomb, but Spies is here for the backup, and I think it's MetaShift Leaf having to back off, so great timing by Slim to not E immediately and get hit by the Spiraling Despair. Sergio, he tries to go something on Big Red, but gets rooted up by the Flame Chompers. It is both teams looking for a bit of a play here. I think, again, MetaShift are more forced to kind of want to go for it. Oh, big damage from MetaShift, getting that combo of the Crushing Maw and the Devastating Fire. Can they get that last Severing Bolt for the kill? It does not reach the Lissandra, but it does force her out for now as Aura sees her there. Cosmic Binding maybe. Oh, flash away from the stun, or sorry, the snare, and it's going to be Aura killing them with the Electrocute proc. So Aura now running away here. Spy's getting very close. That's one Blooming Blows, and Aura's already at half HP. Flash forward from the Lilia trying to get the Eep, but MetaShift flashes away in response. So both teams looking very aggressively for any type of play that they can get, as MetaShift just throwing out random spells to kind of try to keep the Lilia away. Like I like the plays. It's good. Slim does go down, but I feel like they used a lot for just this mid laner who's not that scary as it does. Wow, actually a great Tempered Fate burns the mid lane flash from Big Red. So that's going to be the Jinx, and without the flash for the next team fight over this dragon that is spawning very soon.
You're right. The Lissandra on her own is not that scary. It's really just that Lissandra represents so much like ease of lockdown for that Lilia. But even without Lissandra being present, you saw really how almost the entirety of MetaShift have to give Spies respect the moment that Lilia shows up. It's kind of like, we got to run for the hills, right? Like, we can't let Lilia hit us with Blooming Blows, otherwise she starts stacking up too much movement speed. It's too hard to deal with. And speaking of hard to deal with, just like Crab being forced to flash away in that moment because the Jinx and the Karma are there, they're pressuring, does mean that there's a bit of a problem to be had. But speaking of problems, it looks like the Endless, they're not really savvy to the fact that MSL is going for this Baron. It looks like they're starting to respond now, but I don't actually think they have eyes on it. They're advancing quite cautiously.
Yeah, he invested as well. Sir Joey's taken quite low, though, and they don't kill this very fast. The Jhin just takes too long as Jonik is trying to zone for his team, but it's the entire side of MetaShift that makes it there, and the Lilia is not. I don't know if Jonik can tank this much longer, as it's going to be a jump forward from Slim Pimpin, who gets the self-ulti. Sir Joey's taken so low by the Baron. It's going to be the kill on the Dragon. The Void Rush kills the Lissandra, but can Sir Joey get the smite? He can. He goes down to the Unstoppable Force, but it is, in the end, the Baron secured. Crab almost getting hit with the bowling ball, popping the curtain call. Ultimate used, the Tempered Fate hits nothing as it's flashed away from, but Aura's getting burned down by Spies, who's taking a lot of damage from MetaShift. Crab gets one. Can he get another? He does. He kills him with a crit. It's a double kill for the Jhin. The fourth shot cannot be dodged regardless of how much movement speed you have. So it is a trade. Dragon and 2 kills for the Baron and 3. So this game, again, is just so close. Both teams making very proactive plays, but it's MetaShift coming out on top as they get the huge shutdown on the Lilia. They get the gold from the Baron buff, and they get the tier 1 mid as well. MetaShift and Crab stay safe enough in the team fight. Jonikis just wastes so much time, and they manage to just get the point-and-click 4th shot headshot on the Deer, securing that team fight win. But, I mean, it's not going to get much easier for them now, as it's going to be the full Zanyas and the IE completed for the Lilia and Jinx, respectively. All of these teams are starting to hit 3.5, almost 4 item power spikes, and there's a lot of damage to be thrown around, so it's still anyone's game here, I think, True.
Yeah, it's still a delicate situation for both of these teams, even with that 4K gold lead roughly in the favor of MSL. And that's really just because Lilia is such a problem for them to contend with.
Oh, Slim, big
Oh,
angle, gets
wait, huge
four-man ruled,
flank.
has the self-ulti, though. There's no follow-up. Spies is just not there. That's going to be just Lissandra getting executed by the fourth shot. Spies was not there. Huge spiraling despair almost kills Big Red, who can't get in range to fire. And the range advantage is just in the favor of Metashift, and they take that advantage into not only a kill on the mid laner, but also this tier 2 mid. The Baron power play is very effective, as Spies just has to watch here. There's no engage angle because their main engage, being the Lissandra, is down. Malphite has no flash, can't do the flash ult. Can Malphite get in close? I just don't think so, as it's going to be the tier 3 as well taken. The Baron now getting likely, I think that's like a 3 or 4k gold lead at this point for Metashift, as they use that Baron very effectively and blow open the game for them. That gold advantage is likely going to help them win the future team fights. I mean, not saying the int list is out of this, because that Lilia and the Jinx are still very strong, but they have to be in a good team fight position. As Spies gets hit with that Tempered Fate, the root is mistimed. Do they have enough damage? The curtain call used. Spies pops the lilting lullaby to make the Jhin fall asleep, but Sir Joey's trying to go for the backline assassination, but he gets knocked up. He gets rooted. The Void rushes on the wrong target, and he can't get in range. Spiraling Despair onto the Lissandra. Slim is taken solo, tries to get the flash root, but he can't even do it before he dies, as he gets exploded by the fourth shot and the last proc of the Spiraling Despair. There's team fighting everywhere, as jungler for mid laner trade is used. The super mega death rocket, though, executes Aura's Bard. The Jhin and the Hui are just throwing out spells here, but they're tanking a little bit of turret damage. Can Big Red getting close for the execute? He doesn't have the flash, so he can't follow up, and the 4v4 is still getting a bit crazy, as both top laners still in their solo lanes. And yeah, Metashift strike first. They get the Lissandra, but they lose 2 in the process.
Yeah, it's certainly not a fun time to be had for either of these teams, because these fights are starting to get more and more delicate. It is I think if you are a meta shift, you are frustrated with how long Spies is able to survive. Like the fact that they weren't able to finalize the kill onto the Lilia in a seemingly critical moment, because they were really committing hard trying to kill Spies in that situation. And they don't come away with it. They get another kill onto Slim Pimpin. And this Jinx is starting to become a problem. Like there is a bit of a issue, so to speak, for this Jinx, in that there's no one who's actually able to effectively frontline for her. They're extremely reliant on Grimm's Karma to keep that Jinx sped up and shielded in these fights, because if Big Red eats too much damage, then their game plan kind of falls apart, especially if Lilia goes down. It looks like Dragon coming up in under a minute. Both teams are gunning for vision setup on the objective. It looks like it's going to be Intless who come away with it. They are going to get that scuttle.
Crab
Oh, wait, they see Crab.
Watch away immediately. Still gets hit with the Eep, the Tempered Fate, creating some space, as Crab is going to be able to walk away with that flash. Spies hit with that Tempered Fate, can't keep going. So a flash burnt, and also the Tempered Fate burn. So that's 2 key spells down for the side of Metashift League, as the neutral game, I think it's in advantage of Metashift, because they have the Jhin, they have the way to poke. But Intless are very dangerous if they get an extended team fight, because the Lilia, the Jinx, the resets are so big. I think really I'm looking for Unlucky Canadian. Can he find the angle for the flash ulti? Can there be follow-up from the rest of the Intless for it? We're going to have to find out, as the Dragon has spawned. They're both just throwing out spells, testing the waters here. Spies is going to start up this Dragon. Spiraling Despair into the Fear, hits Unlucky Canadian, the Curtain Call used. That's a lot of spells used on the Malphite, who's still pretty healthy. Spy's getting gunned down in the back, though, in the mix. He gets knocked up. Can he hit the Zonies? He does in time. Is there enough damage? It's going to be Sir Joey securing the Dragon, and it's going to be Devour on the Lilia, as Crab gets 1 with the headshot, gets 2 with another.
Jinx got a reset.
3, but it's the look at the resets on the Jinx, but Big Red just can't do enough damage. He gets executed by the Void Rush. Is now Spies alone in the pit by himself, and gets blasted down by the devastating fire. And Metashift wait for their chance to strike. And it's going to be the Jhin Hui just getting the shooting range gallery, and they just blast the entire side of Intless to pieces. The Jinx was not accelerated enough to really take that team fight over, and I think, like you said, True, this might be the game.
Yeah, I mean, like with the waves, the way they are, that should absolutely be the game. The closest death timer is Grimm, who's going to be coming up in 10 seconds. It's not fast enough. They have the wave, they have everything they need, and that should be MSL going up to match point. Very well done to them. I will say, like, I think the critical moment in that fight, at least for Big Red, is shortly after getting the first reset, you see Jinx run forward and that runs Jinx straight into Sir Joey's knockup, which means that even though you get the reset, you get CC'd right afterwards, so it just doesn't matter.
Franchise Premier League, we are returning with the Season 4 quarterfinals. Playoff season starts, I think, a couple hours ago, as we're already in our fourth game of the night. It's the Intless versus Metashift League, who are now on match point. It's 2-1. Metashift need just one more to close out this series of the night. It's been back and forth in both games 1 and 3. The Intless, pretty close last game to turn around, but they just could not get the deer going. And yeah, Metashift just had a bigger gun to take down the big game hunter. And now we're back with game 4. It's Kebin Dunk on play-by-play. Again, the one and only OG True on color, and the wonderful Pop Tart on production. And we're here to take you through the early game of game 4, as it looks like these teams are ready to scrap already.
Yeah, I absolutely going to be that case, Kevin. And do want to point out, seeing something you just really don't typically see, because a lot of people haven't been super satisfied with it. You know, for as much of a highlight as Deathfire Touch has been, the return of Storm Raider Surge has not had the same sort of fanfare. But this time around, we're seeing two champions, one on each team, rather two players, one on each team, take Storm Raider Surge. For the side of TIL, it's Unlucky Canadian taking it on Gragas, and for the side of Metashift, it's Sir Joey taking it on Darius. Now, like, the thing is, like, Storm Raider Surge is a lot more difficult to proc than Phase Rush was, right? Like, Storm Raiders, you have to do 25% of an enemy champion's max health in order to get that burst of movement speed and the slow resist. With Phase Rush, it was much simpler, right? It was 3 abilities and attacks, and you get that quick trade ability, and you're able to run away from things. I did see that one popular, like, EU Gragas one trick, I think his name is like Bomba Guy, talk about it, and he was speculating, hey, Storm Raider Surge might not be that bad. And then he tried testing it on live when it went out on the patch, and he was like, no, guys, actually, this sucks. So we'll see if Unlucky Canadian agrees with that and is able to pull it off here against Jonicus, or if Sir Joey can also make a similar thing happen. But true to the previous game, Aura on Rakan this time, not on Bard, looking for a real aggressive roam.
Immediately forcing out the flash from Slim, who does burn both the flash and ignite. Crab not in any danger as he sidesteps the super mega fire kick and is just trading back with some autos. On hit Varus just not exactly super strong at this early game. But yeah, Metashift getting the early help means that the flash ignite is down, means that there's a lot less kill pressure on the Ziggs. As we see here, scrapping over this first Scuttle Crab. Apprehend gets it on Spies as the Decimate hits as well. He gets the Empowered Mantle stance, but it's a flash forward from Sir Joey. He gets kicked back. Is there enough damage as a great Blade Caller pulls back the feathers for the root? Flash forward from Crab. It's the flash in response from Big Red. So almost everyone burns the flash or the heal to get out of that sticky situation. Spies, Big Red, Grim, all using the flash, and heal respectively. And then Crab flashing to follow, Aura using the heal for the movement speed, and Sir Joey flashing for the kill. So again, nothing really comes out of it, but both these teams are at a very early start. Just burning summoners left and right means that the next fight is going to be even harder to get out of.
Hey, while and you just like disgustingly high numbers burn for 0 kill beyond the board, but I do the moves that Aura has been putting forward on this Rakan. You are playing versus Emilio and Ozaya. You are not going to expect a lot of aggression from this lane. So I think it's totally understandable that Aura is looking for those roams and really relieving a lot of pressure for Metashift for the next couple of minutes, right? Forcing out Slim Pimpin's flash, but also, pretty much right when the Diana had used the Ignite as well. Good opportunity. That's a big root, though.
Aura getting the Battle Dance out. Crab is just going to keep him safe, but that was so close. The double Blade Caller into the mega fire kick almost gets the kill, but this Rakan is just a bit too slippery, and he is alive, even if barely. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, Aura is able to just munch on some potions, so they are going to be much healthier. Crab in a bit of a more dire situation, especially because he does have the Doran's bow, so he's missing out on that extra 80 HP. But once again, it's just another situation where a lot is used, a lot is committed, and unfortunately not a single kill is going to come away from that. Up there in top lane, kind of feels like Unlucky Canadian not having a great time. He's already like 23 CS down, should be able to recoup some of it as it starts crashing into his turret. But that's functionally 2 waves of CS just
Oh, minus
natively.
one.
Yeah, because Jonikis is just constantly able to harass him. And like, yes, Gragas does have sustain with your own passive, but it's very clearly being a annoyance for Unlucky to Canadian to be contending with because this Mordekaiser has like relatively healthy sustain as well. You're able to kind of get away from Gragas's more bursty traits just by pressing W. And yeah, once again, Unlucky Canadian on the back foot, having to body slam away defensively. This Gragas is not having a great time in this lane.
And I think this is the thing that you pointed out, True, is that the difference between Storm Raider Surge and Phase Rush. I don't know if Pop Tart you're able to mouse over Unlucky Canadians number of times triggered on that rune, but it is way harder to get that 25% burst off. As he's gotten value out of it a single time in the entire 6 minutes of the game, which is
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot more value gained from the Mordekaiser with that Conqueror because again, like you said, the phase rush is so good because you usually body slam, hit them with that drunken rage, and barrel out, and then you have the movement speed to kind of just book it away in those short trains. But if you can't actually regularly get that Storm Raider Surge proc, you pretty much just are down a keystone for half the game, which is really rough considering that Jonikis is always getting value out of that Conqueror just by hitting you, which is what he wants to do already. So that ability to take short trades, kind of win them and walk away is just not there for Unlucky Canadian. And they continue to be in a bad spot as they're starting to get some waves, or sorry, some of that CS denied. It's now a 4-wave advantage for the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe against a squishier target, this would have felt better to use, but here,
Oh, he finally got it, but he does get
well, I
locked
mean,
in the death realm. Explosive cast gets Jonikis into a wall.
doesn't matter.
Body slam is good, but Sir Joey is here for the follow-up. Apprehend pulls in the Darius, and it's a dunk, but it's the ignite from Jonikis securing first blood pretty late into this game. But I mean, Sir Joey is happy to get some early kill credit, and Jonikis is going to be able to farm, I think, at least one plate here off of that kill because Unlucky Canadian doesn't have a TP back. I mean, it felt like for most of every game so far, it's been Jonikis kind of just having to weather the storm against his lane opponent, but for the first time in the series, he's having a great start and starting to build a significant advantage for himself. Oh, Chain of Corruption just goes completely wide.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate loss as far as Crab is concerned there. I mean, I think that was more for pressure than anything else. Like, the health bars were quite healthy between Grim and Big Red, and Milia does still have Breath of Life. So I think that's more of just trying to pressure out your opponents, make sure they get out of there than anything else. But yeah, this top lane, it is going from bad to worse. Like before, it was just a growing CS deficit for Unlucky Canadian, but now in this top lane, it's not just that, it's also the kill in this Mordekaiser's pocket. Take a quick look at the gold right there, and yeah, you can see that not even 10 minutes into the game, Jonikis is close to a 1.4k gold lead. And Aura continuing that pressure as the roaming support. Knowing that your Varus is relatively unbothered means that you are unlocked to be present in that mid lane more often. And I'd imagine it's really starting to wear down on Slim Pimpin, who, as this Diana, is admirably ahead on CS into the ranged matchup. But if you're not really able to pressure this Ziggs, you're just getting increasingly frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Aura, looking for the quickness, gets the apprehend with Sir Joey. But look at the damage from Spies as he has to run back. Grim is here with the support as the Diana gets a Moonfall onto 2. The knockup is good, but there's a lot of damage. Sir Joey has to flash out. Crab is here with the Hail of Arrows for the slow. Metashift gets the Blast Cone away closer to the turret. And even though the Ziggs has no mana, he's going to survive. But Sir Joey, why did you walk back there? He's just going to get ripped apart by the feathers. Aura jumps away with the grand entrance. And I thought Sir Joey was absolutely safe, but he says, nah, I think I'm going to go back in the park, and he gets just torn apart for it. So a bit of a, I think, missed opportunity for Joey to escape with his life, trying to go back in there. And now it means Spies is going to absolutely clear Sir Joey's jungle.
Trying to give
corruption. There's a lot of big damage. Can Crab get the execute with the blight stacks and the arrow? Big blast cone hit. It brings Grim closer, but it's a 4v2, and Crab is taken very low. Breath of Life is good, and Slim just explodes him with the Crescent Strike into the Lunar Rush. And now we see here, Metashift is back, throwing out the bombs, but there's just not enough damage. It's a double kill for Slim Pimpin, who finally runs out of mana. And it's going to be a 2-for-0. Actually, it's a 3-for-0. Yeah, but Joey just left and he came back to die. So it's a 3-for-0 in that extended play on the bot side, and that means Crab goes down and Sir Joey goes down twice as Jonakis gets the jump back, flashes to follow Unlucky Canadian, who unfortunately body slammed into a pretty big wall and could not escape there. So that is the second solo bolo for, or sorry, I guess it wasn't solo the first time, but that is a solo bolo for Jonakis and the second kill for them in this game, and gonna use those Void Grubs to just start busting down this turret. Oh, Spies maybe
yeah,
danger.
Truly.
Damage,
This is
the
not
drag
where you
back
want to
from Sir
be.
Joey. Can they get the dunk on a Spies? It's stunned up. It's finally a kill. The Moonfall is good. Sir Joey taken so low he can't get the execute with the Noxian Guillotine, and now in the 1v1. Metashift getting some support though. Aura popping the quickness, the grand entrance into the knockup. Metashift picks up another one with the bombs. Aura on the roam. It's just making so much happen. Actually claws back the gold lead for the side of Metashift after what was a disaster near the bot side. Yes, Sir Joey goes down for the third time in about 2 minutes, but hey, his team still has the gold lead for their side, so I think they're pretty happy about it.
I think there's a little bit of a star to this gold lead, though. I think so much of this gold lead is Jonakis. You're almost doubling Unlucky Canadian CS. You have 2 kills to your name. I think that is a huge factor in this gold lead. And taking a look, and that Mordekaiser is nearly 2k over Unlucky Canadian. So removing that Mordekaiser from the equation here, the gold is much, much closer to being even between the two teams rather than a notable lead. But that's not to detract away from what Metashift is doing, right? Being 2-0 on the Ziggs, having a bounty to himself is pretty significant. But for as good as things are going for that top lane, and to some degree the mid lane, right? Spies is seriously outpacing Sir Joey on that farming end of things between the junglers, going for that more bruiser-oriented Udyr build. And you're actually seeing, what this build is trying to achieve when you're seeing how meaty Udyr's shielding is. Oh, Metashift's in trouble.
Danger, the full burst from Slim Pimpin is enough to get the kill. It's a shutdown over the Diana. Sir Joey gets the apprehend, but the TP is activated from both sides. The drag back doesn't hit, but Jonakis is doing decent damage. Unlucky Canadian whiffs the body slam. Explosive Clash actually sends Jonakis further in as he got the shutdown. Sorry, the dunk got the shutdown on the Diana. Now it's 4v4 near the spot side. The Dragon is available, but Sir Joey is alive and he's going straight for it. He has the fast track on it. Jonakis is just so much scarier than Unlucky Canadian, and he's going to play bodyguard for his team to get the first dragon for them, and it's going to be 1-1 for dragons for both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is just such a difficult position for Unlucky Canadian to find himself in. Not just because Sir Joey is generally stronger than him, but you take a look at this itemization, right? This is a tier Gragas who's also going for Roa and doesn't have that Roa completed yet, right? So, even when that Roa is completed, you're still on another 10-minute timer for all of your stacks to come through, and you get that extra level. Unlucky Canadian, this is going to take a while for your Gragas' items to be there, and even after they get there, I don't think he's all that dangerous. This is a horrible situation for your AP Gragas to be in, because it's just going to feel useless. And, not trying to sound overly harsh, but as far as I'm concerned, we just saw how effective Unlucky Canadian is in that previous fight, body slamming a minion and then using Explosive Cask and throwing Jonakis closer to the rest of your teammates. It's not looking great for the Gragas. I mean, for the rest of the Enlist squad, it's looking decent, right? Your Xayah hasn't died yet. Your Melio has been able to appeal rather effectively. The Udyr is pretty dangerous, and the Diana is more than capable of forcing a play on her own. But the moment this Mordekaiser shows up, it's, run for the hills. And Slim Pimpin, He can run for the hills. I don't think he can get
Yeah,
out of
in
this
some
one.
danger. The Storm Raider Surges use the big Noxie guillotine, and Slim Pippin tries to fight back, but there's just not enough damage. The Moonfall was available, but Slim just didn't believe in his damage, and that's another kill picked up for the Darius and the Ziggs. Getting a lot of free time now on this turret. I think the Satchel's going to be enough to blow it up if he chooses to use it, so that's going to be first turret, yeah, over to the Ziggs, being a lot of gold. I think even with that 2-kill deficit against the Diana, just the fact that he got that solo turret gold must mean that Ziggs is pretty close in parity.
Absolutely, and you are going to see that it is functionally equal, really just 70, 80 gold difference between the two of them. So, like obviously, yes, Slim Pimpin on this Diana is absolutely threatening, but Meta Shift, Ziggs being a demolition specialist, is able to pressure the map really effectively as well. And I think you're going to eventually see this problem where, yes, Udyr is farming up a storm, but if Sir Joey is going to be able to continue nabbing up gold and through kills just by coordinating with the rest of the team, that will be that equalizing factor between those two junglers. Like, I think that if you are the Entlist, you're starting to get a little bit concerned. You're seeing how annoying this Mordekaiser is. You don't have an answer to it quite yet. The best you can do is keep assigning unlucky Canadian to be matching. But Gragas isn't having a great time, and once again, Slim Pimpin getting caught out here.
Yeah, in some danger. Sir Joey doing big damage, but doesn't have the ultimate. It's a flash-to-flash fall. The quickness used. Spice is here with the Storm, but it doesn't do a damn thing. The Wingborn Storm just sends his brother to heaven. I mean, Slim Pimpin getting caught by the duo of Sir Joey and Aura once again. It's not even the ultimate needed, which is just so tragic because Slim Pimpin's realistically one of the best performing members right now, and the flash forward gets caught by the Chains of Corruption in the last seconds, so Crab doesn't even have to burn a summoner themselves. And get, like, we talk about free time, and there's just more free time for this Varus to hit the turret, or sorry, the Ziggs to hit the turret. He's just farming plates non-stop. Meta Shift, not even in some danger, just getting a big satchel part to disengage. And it's the Darius slaying the Herald. So Sir Joey using that free time, using the time that both Crab and Meta Shift are wasting to help secure more advantage for the team.
Yeah, and that gold lead that was just 1K earlier is now ballooning up to close to just over 3K. Crab is eating a lot of damage here, but I don't think you want this if you're Big Red.
Sir Joey is here, misses the big decimate, but the piercing arrow keeps Big Red away. The explosive charge on the turret, the satchel. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket gets the kill. Big Red didn't flash or hit ultimate to escape that. I don't know what the reasoning was for that, but that means Meta Shift is going to pick up another big amount of gold. This Ziggs is super far ahead, you'd think, with all the turret plates, with all the turret money, with the kills now. Might just be able to finish the Shadow Flame on that back. But the fact that it's almost a 5K gold lead at 17 minutes for the side of Meta Shift, it's going to be the Endless needing to kind of ramp it up into higher gear here if they want a chance at Silver Scrapes.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking increasingly dire for them. You do see that Unlucky Canadian has had the completed Roa for a couple of minutes, but now you're on that stacking game. You're waiting for things to completely stack, and you have at least another, 6+ minutes for that to come through. And things aren't really improving for the team. Like, Spy is getting stuffed on being unable to land the flash engage. Meta Shift
forces the
flash out himself. But that's kind of the issue, right? Like, if you're just forcing the flash and you're not really able to translate that into anything, you're just kind of going to be down on gold. Like, in this moment, Slim Pimpin is going to have the opportunity to push the wave forward, but Meta Shift is going to redeploy onto the map. The Dragon's going to go over to the side of MSL, and really, it doesn't feel like there's much that is really reliable for the Entlist at the moment. Like, once again, Meta Shift is more than capable of defending this. Spies is going to eat a nice chunk of damage. But, yeah, if you are the Entlist in this very moment, you're kind of floundering, right? Gragas can't do anything versus Mordekaiser. Your bot lane is just kind of being at parity with their opponents, and no one's really able to pressure this Ziggs. So the Entlist, they're just getting picked apart slowly at this point. Even when fights are breaking out, they can't really pressure anyone consistently if Slim Pimpin keeps dying. And I kind of feel like that's kind of what Meta Shift has been telling themselves. It's like, okay, well, Diana's problematic, but if we focus our efforts on, neutralizing this Diana, then we have a lot easier of a time playing the game because none of the rest of them can really do anything to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be the fact that the Endless are so far down into a comp that is very hard to fight into around objectives. Oh, wait, Aura might be in some trouble here. Has to pop the quickness, gets the charm, but is going to be able to make it to safety, jumping to meta shift with the battle dance. And I was just saying earlier, like, you have massive wave clear from the Ziggs. The Varus is only going to scale incredibly hard with the on-hit ability. Like, the Diana, at a certain point, is not going to have the necessary burst damage to kill the key carries that aren't even the Ziggs and Varus right now. They are Jonakis's Mordekaiser and Sir Joey's Darius. Like, these two guys are on fully 2 completed items. They're the furthest ahead of in the game, and they've just been collecting gold on the map as meta shift again is going to just show up. Demolition a specialist indeed, blowing up the turn on the bot side, and the gold lead has grown to 6k by around 20 minutes. The Ziggs is 1,000 gold ahead, even with the Diana being the best performing member. It's a 2,000 gold lead for Jonakis as we see the big arrow hits. Chains of Corruption. Is the piercing arrow going to land on the Milio? He's fully stacked on the Blight. It hits, but it's not enough to kill, and now Crab is in compromised position. He does go down as he just tried to get the execute, but it just barely was not enough damage. So a good pick for the int list, but I'm not sure if that's enough to fully claw back that gold lead.
I mean, it's a nice get. You know, like you get Crab functionally for nothing. Like Grim didn't lose any summoners, did have to use Breath of Life, sure, but staying alive in that situation, getting a free kill is nice. But I agree with you, it's not really going to turn anything around. You're still facing a similar issue here because no one's really dealing with Mordekaiser, no one's really pressuring Ziggs. So yeah, it's just a free kill. TIL can't really turn that into anything. All of their problems are still just as relevant now as they were 5 minutes ago. So, like, I think they're maybe hoping that Xayah will really start scaling up. You can see 2 items completed for Big Red. But, like, these fights are still just so annoying for them for us to keep navigating. And it feels like they just don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's a very hard issue to solve. Jonakis has so much side lane pressure. I think the Void Grubs is just paying off so many dividends for the side laning. And now Spy's in some trouble, gets charmed up, gets knocked up, gets hit with the Chains of Corruption. Is there enough damage? He pops the extra shield, but I don't think it's enough to keep him alive. It is. There's enough healing and shielding, but Sir Joey flashes in. The Moonfall used on him. Slim Pimpin taken so low. The Ignite taking on Sir Joey, but it's not enough for either side to get a kill. Kick back from the Super Mega Fire Kick, but Crab walks up with the flash and is just going to arrow down Slim Pimpin. So in the end, a lot of flashes, a lot of ultimates used. Meta shift pick up 1 and don't get much else, but the health bars send the Endless reeling back and they have to back away. And I think that means meta shift can just go straight for the Baron. They have really strong Baron take with the on-hit Varus. They have consistent healing and damage from the Darius. The Ziggs is completely exploding things with just how much raw AP he has. It's not on vision, but I think it's being sussed out by the Endless. Can they make it here fast enough? I don't think so, and that's going to be an uncontested Baron buff at very early in the game for the side of meta shift, being able to run away with that one. It went from grim, pun intended, to worse for the side of the int list.
Yeah, now they're staring down a situation where they're at an 8k gold deficit, just roughly, at 23 minutes, right? Dragon is spawning in just under 20 seconds now, and even if the Intless can deploy, and man, this is kind of what I was talking about with this Darius, right? You are building full movement speed. You have Boots of Swiftness, Yomu's, Deadman's Plate. Like, at a certain point, you just have so much movement speed that even if the enemy team has a dash, like, you can kind of just run through it.
Oh, wait, look at
Slight
Crab, though. He might
TIL's
get caught.
effort,
He gets
though.
a big shield, a huge charm into the Mega Inferno Bomb kills Big Red immediately. No flash or ultimate available. Jonakis goes in. He traps someone in the Death Realm. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's Spies. Spies in this 1v1. Grim getting arrowed down by the Varus, who just snipes him, and Spies getting locked in so long. Aura's just going to pick that one up with the nice kill secure. Metashift now looking for the Gragas, and again, there's just not much he can do. He actually, Explosive asks him closer to the fight. A big Moonfall gets a shutdown onto the Ziggs, but surely Slim Pimpin's going to go down here as a big bonk with the Obliterate from Jonakis. This guy has been playing weak side for the whole game, and now he's ready to just turn it around. It is 5 kills for just the 1. It is Baron buff available. It is the Dragon secured. Will this be meta shift going for the game end here? Big Red is back alive. He has the ultimate, but no summoners up. It's going to be the Xayah that has to make the moves here with the Milio. dealing decent damage with the autos, has the Blade Caller available, and I think is going to be able to clear the wave so that Meta Shift don't end the game. But the gold lead is now 10k as opposed to 8k just a couple minutes ago. They're staring down the barrel of Infernal Dragon Soul. And it is, oh, sorry, I think that's Chemtech Soul, excuse me.
It's Chem again,
yeah. Chem Soul for even more damage reduction, like we were talking about in that earlier game this series. And the Baron's still not totally timed out yet, so Metashift likely have just a couple more waves or so that they can push, and it is, again, it's looking quite terrifying for the Enlist for their playoff dreams if they want to try to claw back this one.
I mean, like, terrifying is one way of putting it. This is, I think, borderline impossible for them to pull off at this point. Like, not to sound overly dismal, but like they don't have answers, and I think that's kind of what has marked the Enlist's losses this series. Like, when they don't really know how to respond to what Metashift wants to do, they start to flounder. And there were signs of that happening in game number 1 as well. And certainly this one isn't over, but you're at a 10k gold deficit 25 minutes into the game. Your prospects don't exactly improve as the game goes on. Like, really what I think they might hope for is to hit a point where you can stall the game out for another 15 minutes, hope to win a critical fight, and then maybe end through that. But unless that happens, I think the Enlist, like, this might be their swan song of the game, because like they're so hard pressured to do anything effectively. You know, their Gragas, you know, went for this double scaling, has never really felt relevant in relation to his lane opponent. The Udyr, the shielding, it was pretty cool. The early skirmishes were going well for that Udyr and Diana, but at this point, it just doesn't really feel like the Udyr can do anything effective. And now, like, the Diana, who has just been consistently shut out of the game, is in this point where, like, yes, you're still bursty, but you need to find, like, a golden opportunity to hit that Varus and hit that Ziggs, and that hasn't been happening. And really, Xayah and Emilio are doing what they can, but, you know, their performance is necessary, but just not sufficient in order for things to really be turned around. So TIL, like I said, like, they're in this situation where they're hoping for a miracle to happen within the next 10 minutes. 10 to 11 minutes or so, where you have to let MSL take the Elder and then hope for a Baron fight. Or sorry, hope for
getting them in. Big apprehend, slim pimpin, pops the Zonias on the Moonfall. Crab has to flash away. Sir Joey looking for the XU, but can't get it. But a Mega Infernal Bomb just kills everything as Sir Joey finally gets the kill, and Metashift with the bouncing bomb kills Grim. And you even get the perfect pick on Crab, and you just cannot kill this guy because he has his team aura with a great disengage. Sir Joey pulling up with the damage, forces the Zonyas, forces the flashes, and then when everybody spends everything, it's Metashift with a huge Inferno Bomb to just turn around the fight. Like, that must have taken, I think, 60% of Spy's and Grim's HP as a Featherstorm goes out. Big Red doesn't hit anything with it. Can he get the maybe Flash Blade Caller for the kill? He cannot, as he pulls it back and gets a little bit of damage on Lucky Canadian, looking for the explosive cast, forces out Sir Joey. Jonikis locks the Xayah in the Death Realm, and finally Spies gets a kill, shuts down the Varus, but Jonikis is killing the Xayah at the fountain. And at the end of the day, I think this might be the Enlist at the end of their list, as Sir Joey's just farming Unlucky Canadian. Jonikis is just undeterred on this Nexus. Slim is trying to kill him, but just can't get the damage. Aura getting the nice quickness into the knockup, and it's going to be the third and final Nexus of tonight, exploding as Metashift lead. They claw it back from their Game 1 loss for 3 straight wins to turn around into a series win. It'll be Metashift League moving to the semifinals of Franchise Premier League Season 4.